So. All right, calling the July planning board meeting to order. That's the chair. The first item up on the agenda is the Wu Residence public hearing for a ground-mounted PV solar installation at 31 Schultz Hill Road. Is the applicant here?
Online is Rose and Rona is with it too.
Yes, we're here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, so I guess first, if you could just give us, do you have any visuals for them, like of the site plan that we can pull up, or
Yeah, or if they have it, they can.
or
share.
do you have anything to share on the screen, or should we just pull up the site plan?
I believe if you pull up the site plan and the only homework, for lack of a better way of putting it, that we had was to show what the structure would look like from the surrounding areas to see whether or not it'd be visible from the streets.
And you have that, or do we have it? No, we don't have it. You have it?
Yes, if you just hang on one second, I'll pull it up.
Rona, let me know if you need me to pull it for you.
Do you have it readily available? I would have to look for it.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Well, let's start with the site plan, and then we'll have you describe the project, and then we'll go on to the visuals.
Okay, so it is a
Actually,
ground
actually, 1 second, I jumped the gun here. I should open the public hearing. So can I have a motion?
I move we open the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the public hearing's open.
Great. Okay, so it's a ground mounted system that will supply electricity to residential property. It is going to power most of her usage, not all of it. And it is within the guidelines of the residential limitations as far as size is concerned, and everything else, actually.
Got it. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, our town board liaison, is logging in online.
I'm just trying to pull it up. Are you ready, Rona, for me to pull it up for you?
Sure.
I just have to share my screen, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Got too many windows open. All right, let me go to our screen. I'm not going to be able to see, so let me just go ahead.
Oh, we started screen sharing up. We're looking at a picture of a field.
Right, this is the, it's indicated underneath that it's the panoramic view looking from the ground mount to the north and east. So the north is to the left of the image and east is to the right from the ground mount. So you can see no roads or homes from the ground mount. And then this is a drone view looking north.
Wait, now we see the drone view. That earlier, this is not a drone view. This is ground, right? Panoramic view.
Right, that's right.
Okay. Now we see a drone view, and just hold on 1 second. Just for the record, Scott Cavey, alternate member, is now here and going to participate because we have members absent. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So the engineer indicated that you cannot see from Brooks Hill Road, the ground mount location. Nor from the south side Schultz, where the blue arrows are.
Okay. Orange
And
arrow.
The only place where you might see the tip of the ground mount is from Tripp Road, where the orange arrow is. You might see a tip of the ground mount there.
Okay. So from those vantage points, all the engineer did was look on Bing Street View, is that what you're telling me?
And
Well,
then
we did have our THA guy go out. Give me one minute. That up. Give me 1 second.
THA is the technical home assessment, the site surveyor in common language. So he would go out, he did go out and actually took the drone view, which correlates with what we saw on Google Maps and Bing. But we verified. Rose, can you scroll down a little more? I want to see if there's any more information. No, okay, that's it.
Me, I'm hearing somebody has the meeting on speaker. Can you mute that, please? Whoever. I'm not sure where that's coming in from. Okay. It's like the old caller in radio shows. Turn off your radio.
What's that?
Okay, what are we looking at something now, or what's happening? We're not hearing anybody.
This is just the layout, crude layout. It's the home itself is well off the road, and there is a lot of tree cover, even in front of the ground mount.
And
But
that's the
even the
red,
home is-
the red square, that's what
That's where
indicates-
yes, that's where it's going.
Okay. Do you have any other visuals, or is that it?
That's it on our end.
All right. Is there any members of the public here looking to speak on this application? No. Does anyone from the board have any questions for the applicant? Drew, do you have something? What's up?
Hey, I'm really familiar with this property because the house was built not long ago. I mean, I think most of it's known, except that fantastic view. What's this out? I find it interesting that they gave us photos of the north and east and nothing else. I feel like there's a lot to see in the other directions. And perhaps things that can see back at us in that site.
Do you have a southerly view?
I'm looking right now.
Trees. Getting it down.
The first, if you remember, the first image
Oh, where the ground mounted.
was facing south.
Oh, can we pull it back? Can we pull it back up, please?
Sure, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna share again. Oh my God, get big. There we go.
If you scroll up to the top, Rose. Oh, not all the way, down a little. This one is.
North.
It's north and east.
This is this one. The drone view looking north would be from, so go down one more, the third one. The drone view looking north would be, you can see where south is there.
Just, could you put an arrow where the thing is gonna be located on this view? Right there, right? Yeah,
Down a little bit. Rose, see where the tree line is? Go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees and then southeast from that, where there's like a dark. Yeah, right there.
so do you have a shot from that spot looking south?
I don't think so.
Hang on, I'm looking.
South would be to the bottom right corner toward the house,
Or south or west?
would be southeast.
South. Hmm.
Okay, so we're coming off of here. We're coming down over to here. And it looks like it's going right over. Here's where the house.
What?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure it out from the picture that I have here. It's sideways, I'm sorry. But if you can see from this, here's the road there. So it would be coming down.
Yeah, you're flipped. No, yeah, I don't. I think the vantage point we were just looking at was,
Bottom of the page looking.
yeah. I think there's just like it's a different road you're looking at. Yeah,
The
this,
house is to the right.
the house is to the right. This is heading, like, this is like a map view almost, right? Like north is pretty much straight up. So west would be to the left, south would be to the bottom.
Correct. The green, where the green grass is, the house is further in that direction there,
Right.
further southeast.
I'm looking for the,
Did we ask for that?
We didn't have to ask for this, the south. I mean, there's hills there, fields, but and I almost think that the
Just ask.
thing might be screened by the house itself.
You. We have the minutes. Yeah.
We mentioned a lot of roads. I remember there was a lot of roads.
Mention the roads.
You could, I think, we can river.
Yep, Crip Road.
sorry, excuse me.
Sarah. Sarah. Okay, here. There.
Hills Hill, McGee Hill Road, we didn't get it shot in that direction. Should be sort of southeast.
What did we ask? Hill Road,
Schultz Hill.
Oh, boy, I didn't want to do that.
Oh. All right.
He's looking at maps, by the way, he's not just playing.
Playing solitaire.
Yeah, I feel like the train goes slightly up. Let me see train. Yeah, that's what I thought. So to the west is a slight, there's like a little stream there. It's like this is the property here, right? And then solar is like right around there. Solar's right around there, and there's a slight ridge there to the west.
Yeah, I don't think the west would be a problem.
And then it kind of goes up from the thing to the house slightly.
Yeah, so I think that the house would kind of screen it.
I'm not concerned. I know what you're saying, Drew, but
You know, Sarah has said that she didn't feel it was
Mhm.
seen.
All right, is there any, we'll deal with that in a minute then, I guess, as far as if we feel we need more, but beyond that, is there any other questions or comments from the board? Warren, do you have any?
The idea was if any neighbors came in and were concerned about the views that, you know, it doesn't seem to be any.
It's in the
concern
middle.
About it, so I'm
I
not.
don't think the same
concerned.
thing to the south. There's no houses on that hill.
You said to the south, though, I think the house would probably be blocking any sort.
Right,
Mhm.
Where are we? Because the house doesn't sit down too low, right?
yeah, it's right here, you see, so you got this ridge to the
Yep.
west, and then it kind of goes up to the house, so the
Yeah.
house is there, and the thing is there, and you got this.
So it'd be sitting down lower than you, right?
Is it Jane's house just above it?
It is. On the other side of the road, right? On the other side of Schultz Road, right? She's
Just above it. I'm not sure.
Here is,
I move we close the public hearing.
well, let's see if she has some, you have something else for us to look at?
no, I'm just trying to look through the pictures from when my guy was there for everything that we did to find you more
Ah.
pictures. Where you could see where it's going to be placed compared to the house and all that. So I was just looking for more pictures, that's all.
Yeah, you think you have it or no?
I have a gazillion pictures.
Oh. I don't know, I'm not,
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty strict on, you know, when he was there, what he was seeing. You know, and he didn't see where it was gonna be a problem. I'm just trying to see. Oh, I have a video. Hang on, see what
movies. See, I thought, remember I even said, like, do we want to go there? I would have liked. It's always the best in my mind. You go there, you just stand there, you get an idea. Like we did for another project, which will not be named tonight. All right, so. You have that, or you think it's not gonna play, or?
Well, he shot a video for us, so I have that up. Are you seeing it?
No, we're seeing the same map, drone view at the moment.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, he has a video in here, so if I can get this to go away. And
She froze. Once the mouse isn't moving.
cancel that. Okay. I'm gonna show you You're still
We're still-
seeing my screen?
You were still seeing the drone footage, yeah, the drone picture. Have you closed that or is it?
It says I paused, but I don't know how to unpause it.
What's on pause?
Screen share.
Your screen
Yeah, it
share?
says your screen share is on pause.
If you click it, you. Tricia, what happens when you click the screen share? I just want to see what the controls say. Click on screen share.
You have to, you have to.
All right, I stopped it. All right, we got that.
Yes, it's always a good. Stop it and turn it back on again.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into it right now, and then you could see the video that he took. So we go into here. Let's go into here. Come on. Here. Come on. Okay. So this. Pause it, hang on. Two back over here. Two up. So here, let's go share screen. And this one. Share.
Ah,
see
yes,
it?
we got it. Yep, we're looking at the video.
Okay, it's playing.
Okay. Well, yeah, all right, yeah, so now that's,
He's where the site thing is gonna be.
yeah, now we're looking, see how there's those trees to the, that's to the west, northwest, maybe? You take it, he's walking towards the. Yeah. Yeah. That's to the road, right, to the right, that line of little trees up near the road. Now he's looking towards the northwest. Schultz Hill Road. Yeah, and see the houses there. I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
All right, let's motion to close the public hearing, please.
Make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All opposed? Hearing is now closed. Warren, what's the seeker or what?
Picking up the seeker, I mean, it's not exempt from seeker, it's a unlisted action.
Okay,
So I think there's a short form EAF that they submitted.
Tricia, do we have that?
I think I filled out a short already for it.
So I need a part two.
Just have to go over the part 2.
You want me to pull up there too, or what, for us?
Yeah.
Pull up one for that I can fill out, please, print it.
Okay. Fourth one, right?
Correct. Yes,
There you go.
You want me to do it on here and then print it?
just print it and I'll fill it out.
I got one printed if you want.
Oh, sure.
I have to always do it on here too.
Oh, no, what'd
Okay.
you do to your hand?
Ah, yes, I got had a little incident. It's broken.
See the
Oh,
other guy.
no.
It's okay.
See my watch here.
All right, okay, so the board needs to answer these questions. I'm gonna answer them. Everyone speak up if you disagree with what I'm saying. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? I'm gonna say no. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? I say no. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? I'm gonna say no. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? I say no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? And I say no. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonable available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities, I say no. Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies? No. Will the public-private wastewater treatment facilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? I say no. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? Examples, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? I say no. Will the proposed action result in increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? I say no. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? I say no. One thing I forgot, Ethan, gave us, can you print that out for me so I can, Ethan is one of our members, not gonna be able to be here tonight. He had some comments. Oh, you have it, okay. Was there any, did he have anything?
He didn't have anything on this.
Okay, good. All right, so now, for every question in part 2 that was answered, moderate to large impact may occur if there are needs to explain why. Obviously, we didn't do that. And we had nothing as a moderate to large impact. So therefore, we're going to check the box that says, check this box if you've determined based on the information analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. I'm checking that box. Everyone agrees?
Yes.
Okay. Name of lead agency, Forward. 7/26, right? Yes. 2023. All right. So we have a resolution prepared. Can I have that, please? Thank you. Warren prepared a resolution. Okay, so it was
Time. I had the time.
6.
Good thing I double checked the agenda. Wouldn't have been there.
All right, Town of Pine Plains Planning Board, resolution approving special use permit and site plan application for the installation of a ground mounted solar facility at 31 Schultz Hill Road pursuant to subsection 27524C of the Town of Pine Plains zoning code, whereas June Wu has submitted an application to the Pine Plains Planning Board dated May 16, 2023, seeking special use permit and site plan approval for the installation of a ground-mounted solar installation at the premises known as 31 Schultz Hill Road, Pine Plains, New York, parcel number 134-200-6971-00-735027-0000. And whereas said premises are located within the R zoning district and the proposed installation conforms with the requirements for tier 2 ground mounted solar facilities as set for in subsection 275-24C, subsection 3 of the zoning code. And whereas the public hearing was scheduled for said application on July 26, 2023 at 6 p.m. And whereas no opposition to the said application was expressed by the public during the course of the public hearing, and the public hearing was closed on that date. And whereas the application has been determined to be an unlisted action under seeker, and the applicant has submitted a short form environmental assessment form, which has been reviewed by the planning board, and the planning board has reviewed the part 2 of the short form EAF and determined that this action does not have the potential for any significant environmental impacts, and a draft environmental impact statement need not be prepared in conjunction with said application. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pine Plains Planning Board hereby approves the special permit and site plan application for the installation of a ground mounted solar facility in accordance with the site plan and special permit application submitted by the property owner, and be it further resolved, all application fees, escrow charges shall be paid by the applicant before the signing of the site plan by the planning board chairman, and issuance of any building permit for the said solar facility. All right, so now we're gonna take a vote. First of all,
I move we adopt that resolution.
I'll second that.
okay, Al,
I,
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
They're right in.
And I also, I. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let it be shown that the resolution carried by a vote of 5-0. July 26th. 2023. There's a couple of just like spelling errors like that. Okay,
No fees with that.
They're right.
yeah, it's just a site plan and special use permit. There's no additional solar fee. Okay, so just make sure everything's paid up, get us the site plan, final copy, and I'll sign it. And that's it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much.
Do they have an escrow with us?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so any of the fees from the consultants will come out of the escrow and we'll get you the residual. Or get
Okay,
you a
so
bill.
somebody will email me everything?
Tricia will, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye. Good luck with your project.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have the Stewart Shops Corp. Public hearing. Site plan and special permit, special use permit for 7710 South Main Street.
Jesus.
This side, okay, would you rather me?
Over here would be better, just so it's on the video. Please.
Brian.
Good evening, I'm Marcus Andrews, just here before, oh, sorry.
Let me have a motion to open the public hearing.
Second,
All in favor?
I,
Public hearing is now up.
And I'm Marcus Andrews with Stewart's, just a brief summary of our proposal. Approximately 3,900 or where are we at? 3,996 square foot building, proposed Stewart's. We're looking to construct behind our existing Stewart's with a new gas canopy with 4 fueling islands. Remaining entrance along Route 82, and then 3 entrances along the access road on the side, all deliveries in the back. 3,000 Kelvin lighting throughout, LED lighting throughout. We did get a comment letter from George, which I believe we've addressed the majority of your comments. I don't know if there's any follow-up, but we can discuss that this evening. One thing we did look at was the sign. We did shrink it down. We're down to a 24 square foot sign. Yeah, LED recessed lighting underneath that casts down from the top, so it's externally illuminated. We looked at the possibility of stacking the pricing just to make the sign longer. The issue is the units that these are in, you still need approximately 30 inches for just the pricing, so stacking them, you're up to 60 inches already. So you're 5 feet tall with this sign, so stacking them really actually makes it a little bit bigger than actually putting them side by side with the Stewarts on top. This overall sign is approximately 7 feet with the base being at 3, which the stone walls in the area are anywhere between 32 inches and 36. So there's a little bit of play. We can go a little bit smaller with that, but the sign today is approximately just over 8 feet to the top of the roof line. So this would be a little bit shorter than the sign that's out there today. Quick summary, we've seen this a few times already, so open it up to the public and the board, and hopefully I can answer any questions you have.
And you anticipate it being in the same spot where the sign is?
It's
John?
approximately in the same spot. It shifts just a hair. This is the existing, that's the proposed.
And there's a tree.
There's a tree here.
Okay. There's no other trees in that span of grass there right now?
Yes, that's the one tree.
That's the one.
That's the large tree that's there.
And now the wall also matches the type of walls that are there.
It'll match it as close as we can, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'd look to, right now, we're proposing it to match the building. You know, if you'd rather have it match the wall that, I believe there's one up here and then there's one here, we can look at those.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
what
that's
we-
what we talked about
Yep,
last month,
yep.
to have it match that type, just so from the street, it kind of blends in a little,
Blends it all together. Yep,
whatever we say, stacked stone, whatever the
Yep.
terminology. is.
Right.
Somebody had a good term for it. Was that your term? Yeah. Um. Okay, well, before we go into the board comments, I guess, do we have any public comments on, yes. So say your name and,
I'm Reverend Sarah, the Gopian, with the bakery, from Inside Bakery Cafe, and this is the store right next to bakery, right? Yeah, so,
I believe so, yeah.
yeah, so I'm just curious that there's that road right on the side, on the
Yep.
left of the bakery. I'm trying to understand, you have like, is that road where I see there's gonna be things, I'm confused, I don't. I'm just wondering how it's gonna look
You're towards the top of it.
on the other side.
Up
yeah,
here.
so
Oh, okay.
up to the top of this map is where the abandoned house is, that's sitting there on the
Yeah,
corner. So you're over here.
Oh, okay,
like
so
up-
this is.
You're
way-
Right where
Yeah.
Stewart's is now, pretty much, it's just
Pretty
gonna
much
move
right
back.
behind you.
Okay. So it's on the other side. Where I'm, okay, I was just wondering what it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
That was gonna be, because I've heard a lot of people coming in saying they're gonna be developing, but I didn't know what it really was gonna look like. Okay.
Anyone else have a comment, on this application?
Hey, Comer, for your line roll complaints. I'm for this. It's a good idea, understanding all the stipulations of moving it back and all that. I think overall for the town, I think it's gonna be a good investment for us. And everybody uses it, nice. And they donate very well to a lot of charity. I'm a favor on it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? This is what this is, oh, Scott's letter. He wants me to read this in. Do you have a copy for Warren of this? He sent it by email, today.
Last night, maybe.
Oh, this is the. I don't know what
All right,
I have an
well,
old one. That's a,
It's the 19th. That's what he said.
he didn't send me any.
Oh, is this-
I just saw it today.
Oh, that he must not have put it.
I couldn't find it.
What's the date of it?
It's June 19th.
Sometimes you
Okay,
have to do it wrong.
That was for the CBA's.
Oh, it's June 19th. I just realized. So he must have just sent it today. This is a
Did he
a letter he
resend it?
wrote,
So that's.
Right.
or something. All right, I'll read this. So this is from the ZBA chairman, so I am gonna read it. Normally I would just enter this into the record. But being that's our fellow board for the town. Dear members of the Pine Plains Planning Board, I'm writing to express my concerns regarding Stewart's redevelopment of their site and the potential for significant more positive result for the town and ultimately for Stewart's, especially considering a commercial building life of at least 20 to 30 years. Obviously, again, I'm reading Scott Chase's letter. This is not me. This is his opinions. First, these comments are not in opposition to Stewart's. Stewart's has been, and I believe will continue to be a positive member of the community, providing needed services and jobs while supporting numerous community-minded endeavors. That being my primary thought, I do take issue, I'm sorry. I was grabbing my, I do take issue, I lost my place, all right, there. With Stewart's being somewhat disingenuous in this planning process. They purchased an additional half acre at the rear of the property and told the town they had no future plans when the revised subdivision came before the planning board. 3 to 6 months later, this application shows up. At the ZBA public hearing, they threatened that the project would not move forward if they were forced to comply with the town zoning setbacks. My belief is that Pine Plains Stewart's is an extremely profitable one where they wish to add diesel fuel and more retail space, which should significantly increase sales. Having been a professional planner for 30 years, plus the years, I am skeptical when corporations use threats of my way or the highway. I think there is much money to be gained in upgrading this store, which has reached its useful life after being constructed 30 years ago, some years ago. Also, I was told by a neighbor that when the employees were collecting petition signatures to garner support for their variance, the Stewart's employees were claiming Stewart's would have to shut down gas service for 6 months if they had to place the building close to the road. This is contrary to what the representative told our board at the ZBA hearing. He stated that the shutdown time would be 8 to 12 weeks, even with the building close to the Route 82. Hence, I do have concerns about various Stewart statements being less than fully honest, and I'm wary of threats based upon my years of working with developers. This site is one of the gateway properties to the historic hamlet of Pine Plains, should be treated as one that sets a standard for design quality and appearance. I do not believe a 100-foot long gas canopy as the out front and most visible element on the site sets the example we want for entering the hamlet. I know the major truck stop look is not what we envisioned when developing the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan committee and town zoning committee spent literally hundreds of volunteer hours, held numerous public hearings, conducted surveys, and crafted a comprehensive plan with guidelines and zoning regulations to try to implement the wishes of the community, following sound common sense planning principles. Public concerns included trying to slow down traffic entering 55 and 45 mile per hour zones coming into the hamlet, which is a 35 mile per hour zone, and upgrading the appearance of buildings that fit the historic character of the hamlet. The one thing everyone was against was creating a suburban shopping mall look with lots of pavement, lots of visible parking at the entrance to the community. The comprehensive plan is the overall development policy document adopted by the town board that is meant to guide the town board and all town appointed entities, including the planning board and the ZBA in the decision making. A good example is the town board making efforts to move the town hall back into the Hamlet Center to correct the error of moving the town offices out of town where it is inaccessible to walking residents. I'm sorry the ZBA chose not to follow the main policy documents of the town. The planning board has the ability through site plan approval process to see that the official town policy as stated in the comprehensive plan and in the zoning law is followed. When the comprehensive plan was written, as previously mentioned, after hundreds of volunteer hours, over 2 years of meetings and multiple surveys to obtain public input, there was a conscious decision to require new buildings to be located close to the street with setback between 10 feet and 25 feet and with parking to the side or in the rear in order to reinforce and continue the character of the historic hamlet, to make it easier for pedestrians to access the buildings and to slow down traffic. Studies have shown that when drivers perceive a more confined space, they slow down, and the opposite occurs when buildings are set further back with the open parking lots in front. Having spent literally hundreds of volunteer hours working on and with the town planning board and comprehensive plan committee, the zoning committees, the conservation advisory commission and the town board over the past 40 years, I have no qualms suggesting that Stewart's project can and should comply with the zoning setback requirements of gas pumps and parking to the side or rear of the building. Stewart's has done it in other locations. Yes, it will mean the gas service may be interrupted for an additional 4 to 6 weeks, but in the life of a building that should last 30 years, it seems a small inconvenience to obtain significant design benefits and uphold the intent of the primary town policy documents. The proposed building with a steeper gable roof will be a significant improvement over the original Stewart's fake gambrel roof that matched nothing else. My recommendations include, don't be swayed by corporation threats. The town has the right to require applicants meet the community design standards. Have the building meet the setback requirements or close to them. All parking should be to the side or rear of the building. No gas pumps should be placed in the front yard. Consider a matching gable roof on the gas canopy. Provide for future connections to adjoining properties so cars do not have to drive back out onto Route 82 to reach adjoining properties. I believe you'll find the records requirement that the old Pilch home have a connection to Stewart's. This was imposed on Dale Mitchell's site plan when he had his wood business in the Pilch house. Provide for pedestrian bike connections to adjoining properties to the east and south to accommodate future development next to and behind Stewart's. This is a project at the southern gateway to our community. Stewart should be proud to set the design standard for appearance of our community. 100-foot gas canopy out in front of the building setback over 160 feet with a large expensive payment is not in front of a building setback with over 160 feet with a large expansive pavement is not a reflection of the development we wish to foster in our historic hamlet. If Stewart's claims they can't design a site plan that works, you have the ability to request that they pay the town consultants to do a new site plan. This is a project that will, in all probability, affect the appearance of the town for at least 30 years. I'm hoping you are not swayed by 6 more weeks of gas pumps being closed. Having sat in your seats in the planning board and having provided professional planning assistance to numerous town boards in Dutchess County, I know these issues can be difficult, but you have the zoning and comprehensive plan to back you up. I implore you to respect the hundreds of volunteer community hours that went into developing these documents and policies. Thank you for your consideration of these thoughts. Sincerely, Scott Chase. Thanks, John. For the record. Now we have comments from Ethan.
His concerns were, one about the, we talked about this last time. We have the zoning law says fences can be 6 feet high. And I think, Mr. Andrews said that your dumpsters are top out at 7 feet.
Which we corrected. We changed it to 7.
But the
The
dumpster,
dumpster itself is taller than 6 feet, yes.
So, I mean, that was a concern, and the dumpsters might be visible. But is that reason enough to go to the ZBA for a, 2-month process to get you a variance on that? That's for us to think about. There was talk of the access road that Scott referred to Pills Drive. Does that exist now, or is it all,
it's not there, but is there like a,
there must be a right of way there or something.
do you know anything about that?
About
That there,
further back.
It must go.
I couldn't hear.
so the access road to
side.
Pilch Drive up here towards the top, going out the top, it would probably be where the new building is, right? Because like the property line used to be,
Yeah,
Property line used to be right here.
right?
Yeah,
so it might be along there.
So was there some sort of access road
there was nothing on the survey, nothing on the subdivision map.
Long forgotten highway.
Yeah, but if that for future development, if that is in there and they bring it up, what does that do for Stewart's? If they're building something and it's on the,
No, it's not there now. That's,
What access road are you?
People were talking about that supposedly on some early, site plan that was done with Stewart's, I guess, that there was, or when Dale did his wood business or whatever, that there was some sort of access granted across like the back of that house that's sitting there from Pilch Drive. So like
go
the
to
Stewart's-
post office.
So basically, so
Go
like
back
if this
road.
all ever got built out, right, I guess the idea was you would not have to go back out onto 82 and then go to the post office and everything else. You would just go from Stewart's to whatever is back there, and
That I don't recall. But why is that relevant to this?
everyone keeps bringing up, I don't know, it's in his comments. It's, obviously for future development, but I don't know, it's so nebulous, like, right now, like, what can we try and
Can you just point to where the access drive that he's talking about?
He does-
we're
he does- he doesn't
we're
know.
supposing
We don't
it's
know.
probably right into
the first I've heard of.
it's probably right into
No,
where
it's been brought
the
up before.
new building
No.
is going to go, Warren, because if it was due to where the old property line was and where that piece of property where the wood business is, which is just off the map here at the top, it would have to come like right into where the new building is gonna be.
So how would they develop it?
Yeah, well. Yeah, again, I think, I don't know even what kind of language you would look to put in, like Dale's gonna have access through his through his piece of property that connects with the Stewarts, that Stewarts have the easement over. So that could connect to any force.
No, that's just drainage. easement.
No, the
This,
driveway.
but this driveway,
No,
yes.
right, that could connect to whatever's
Yes,
behind it
yeah,
in the future.
Right,
You know about
Right.
that.
but it would have to swing, it would probably have to swing behind all of Stewart's property anyway.
Right, like to go up towards like, so that. I think it could be accommodated in the future as long as the parties,
Yeah,
Where
we
it's-
we can ask Stewart's to extend their
yeah,
lot into the
trying
post
to,
office area.
alright, so go.
Next thing Ethan has is about, fuel signs have to be lit by government regulation. You mentioned. Those, the outs,
We need to advertise fuel pricing, yes.
but you had said that it was a law in New York State.
I believe it was, or it is.
I guess Ethan would like to know what law that is.
Do you have that one? You know that?
I thought I could, I just saw that before I came to the meeting. I thought I could quickly pull it up, but I couldn't. But I do know that there is an exemption for fuel price signs from the LED. I don't know, it must be a federal regulation. I mean, we're not, I can do a little bit more research. I think the issue came up in another application, not for Stewart's, for Cumberland Farms in the Northeast. I could probably find it, but I'm pretty positive there is that exemption.
So when you see, when I drive around, I see some gas stations not having,
Some don't.
they just did it out of
Yeah,
choice,
some use the old
right?
flip method,
But
but if they want to use the, it's only for pricing.
Right.
But for pricing.
right, like I was in New Paltz today and the mobile station by the highway. By where you get off the thruway has just, it's got 4 prices, cash, debit, blah, blah, cash and
Because they
credit.
change so often.
But it's the numbers, it's not
Yeah.
the digital. So I was
I'll
just,
try to find it before, you're not gonna vote on it tonight because we don't have the 239, but I'll see if I can find the site for that.
please, thank you.
Couple more things that Ethan mentioned. You stated that the store, entry to the store must face the fuel pumps as a safety issue or
Correct.
requirement of law also.
That is a requirement that there's visible, our partners are visible to. There's somebody looking pretty much at the gas pumps at all times.
Okay. Could you get the citation on that also?
Yes.
possibly? He requests that, or ask, could the applicant consider matching the light fixtures the town has on South Main Street? I don't know how many.
Are there any
Are
lights?
there any lights on this, along the street lights?
The streetlights that are there will remain. There are streetlights.
Can you just point to where the streetlights are?
There is
One in the
one
corner.
here, one here, one here, and I believe one here.
And they are,
Those are the streetlights that probably at one point in our development was required for us to put in. We power them.
and what do they look like? Do they look like the ones the town?
They
has?
look like
Yeah.
the rest of the ones in town.
They do, okay.
Yep.
So what is?
Scratch that. And plantings, so you're gonna do any plantings here along the wall or either side of the wall, or it'll just be grass?
Oh.
And
Another comment from George, we added some, we had strictly just some red maples and perennials. We added shrubs and some evergreen trees.
Do you mind flipping that so we got the same orientation as the previous?
Yeah.
That just might be helpful.
I guess Ethan's request is that they be native plants. And, you know,
Yeah,
Right,
you guys don't know what that means.
so.
Let's
you
have
went
George
with-
take a look at that.
correct. We added more.
That's all his
Yeah.
comments.
What are these shrubbery? What's
We had some shrubs.
in the, yeah, what is the sale? It says what they are.
Yep. There's a chart.
I see. Nothing. Maybe they can look at it.
Oh, so you actually added little gardens in amongst, so you did add quite a bit more.
Yeah.
So that it's not a cookie cutter generic. Everything was.
Okay, is that it for
That's
you?
it, yeah.
But, and now with the lighting plan, you did talk about the 3000 Kelvin. Do we have that? Do you have that on a?
Yeah, he said that.
George, have you had a chance to look this over?
I did.
And is it adequate, like, as far as like all the information's there?
All the information's there. I would like it if they were 12 foot instead of 15, but I don't know that we can mandate that. I mean, as far as the amount of light, I believe it's appropriate.
What does that mean? They're 12 instead of 15?
In other words, the higher up the light is above the ground, the more you're gonna have like a night glow effect, right? So the shorter the pole, the mounting height, the more the light stays on your site, the less you see it when you're not near the site. So again, you're not lighting the sky, which is dark sky compliant, right? So you're not shining up,
Mhm.
you're not sending it out. But the higher that light source is,
The more it
the more you're
escapes the
gonna see it
property.
from the other.
These
Three
are lights,
figure
these are
comment.
lights on the building that you're.
These
Yeah,
lights,
so these are 15 foot high again.
but we're not escaping the property.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So they're not lighting up outside of their property. So again, the board,
But
can-
when you drive in, you'll see them more.
you're more apt to see them at
So
15
you
than
would
12.
not even consider,
The issue
Driving it?
is the lower the light is, the more focused it is in this point. At 15 feet, I get a better spread. The lower it is, it's focused right here, which means there it's dark, so I need to add more lights. To
you
make
spend a
up
lot
for-
of time down there with the lights, so.
Like that, I'm not sure it's the hill to die on, but just, just a comment.
And you agree that he might have to add more?
We most certainly would have to add more to get the same amount of light. Yeah, and if you think about like a flashlight, take a flashlight and hold it up here and think about how it shines.
Right, right.
The
Bring it down.
more you bring it down, the brighter and brighter and brighter, but the smaller that circle gets.
How high is the canopy for gas?
14.6 to the bottom.
So it's about the same as the canopy. so.
I mean, it's not Walmart, they're,
Right.
25 feet.
Right,
You know what I mean? Just for perspective, so they are lower. It's just, again,
And that's what's there now, 15 feet? What are the ones there now?
To be honest, I don't know because they're all,
Old.
they're old and some are angled out. and it's- yeah.
right, and they're on cement.
These will be as well, but this is from grade up.
Yeah.
Right, the height takes
Yeah.
sense.
And the color of the lights?
3,000 Kelvin, as far as the light itself or the pole,
The light,
3,000, the dull light, I guess.
warmer.
Thank you.
Less blue,
Yeah.
more yellow.
We spent a lot of time down there.
Yes.
Lights, so.
We had 3 meetings in the parking. lot.
That's, yeah, that's the way you want.
Okay. Uh,
So there was the light, and then the only other thing that I had was, again, I know you're matching the islands where the islands exist out there on the access drive.
Okay,
Um,
for the width.
but there is an access easement, not an easement to construct. So I mean, I think, you know, we should just get something from the actual fee title owner, right, that says it can be there, right? There's no, they don't have the right to build in that right of way. They have the right to drive in and out, ingress and egress. So they're trying to match the new curved islands with where the existing ones are, but somebody built them in the right of way where, you know, the easement. So we should just get a sign off from Mitchell. That's,
DOT.
or, no, not from
No.
DOT.
No,
this
This
access.
is Mitchell, I think Mitchell owns the fee
It's for
title,
this. Oh,
just said he's okay with it, so.
Can you do that? We can get something.
And then the only other thing I think that we disagreed on was the number of entrances down there, and again, not that it's the hill to die on. I would just, you know, knowing that there are other things waiting in the wings, you know. Right now, it's probably not a big deal, but if that back portion gets developed and there's more traffic coming in and out, it's gonna become a bigger deal. That's my only thing.
and why not just have it open? That's worse.
Oh, yeah, much worse,
That's
much
worse.
worse. Much worse, yeah. But again, I understand their, you know, Stewart's position and why they want the 3, and like I say, at this point in time with the level of development there, it's not a big deal. But I don't know, like, again, I do know that there is talk and there's this,
But there's a lot of trailers though, too, also coming in.
so if something goes in back there and this level of traffic goes up, it won't be an issue for Stewart's because they're already out the gate. But it's gonna become a potential significant impact when and if there's a review of a project behind it.
And again, for your request, we did it, stop bars,
Yep,
stop signs.
so stop bars and
just,
stop signs, everything else I agree with their responses and how they addressed it, totally. And like I said, with the lighting, again, it's not the end of the world. The color temperature and everything is fine.
Trucks pulling in the back to make deliveries. Is there room to turn around there or do they have to back out?
They're gonna either, you know, come in this direction and back in, or pull in and then back out and come through the lot.
This is all just gonna be grass back here. What was that, the septic?
Septic field is back here, yes. Septic fields here, this is all grass here, a big grass bed, and again, the 2 islands will be grass with landscaping.
Is there lights in, like, I see these light numbers back in the grass area back there. Why is there, is that just,
Zeros.
Those are
There's the 0.2 here, the orange are lights.
I see. And they're facing into the bar.
They're facing into this parking lot. They are, I believe, they're all back shielded too, so. Each light is a little LED that's pretty much the back half of it's just cut off. So the light shines forward, not to the back of the light.
How many lights stay on 24 hours a day inside?
Typically none. Typically we are 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after closing. Just safety for our closers and openers, but they're on timers. Timers and light photo cells, so they go on with the, you know, setting sun and go off based on the timer.
Can you explain to me, so the gas pumps are gonna be in the same place, basically?
Let's go back to. Gas pumps today are right here. So island, 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 island. And then the new, are proposed are like this.
So you're gonna have a better flow of traffic with the new gas pumps where they are?
Yes,
I don't see that.
having a customer parked here getting gas blocks this. You're not allowed, you can't get through, you'd have to go around or around this way. Just having them in series like this allows you to go to any one of these
Okay,
without
so
being blocked.
people pulling in just to pull into the parking spots.
Yep,
Now have pretty much a direct shot to them
today,
today.
okay,
They also, when they pull in, there's a much bigger spot where they can pull in and get to the other side, or they can come in. Now you have it when people pull in, if they're not going to the gas pumps, I see where that's gonna be a lot more confusing.
well, I would
I mean, when you sit,
today, sorry, go ahead.
when you sit across the street and watch the cars pull in and out. Now I'm thinking there's gonna be gas pumps there.
Pulling in from here, getting to these spots, I agree.
Just pulling in that, right, just pulling in there.
To get to these spots, you're crossing through a tight area right here that's got customers walking in and out. And this is tight if somebody's
And
parked out
so
here.
now you're gonna have the customers walking in and out from the pumps
Yes.
now. So
But
why,
you're able
that's
to
not
go
any
here,
different.
you're able to come here and here to get to these,
Yeah, but nobody
avoiding that
uses
gas
this way.
completely.
Nobody, everybody pulls in on that one. You pulling?
Almost all the time.
Good for you.
I know. I'm an
Um,
odd duck
You're-
anyway.
but
You're-
when
you're
you watch
also-
the traffic pulling in the morning, most of them use that, even the trucks with
Today,
trailers.
The
Yes,
majority of the parking's on this side.
Mhm.
You're gonna have additional parking here and here, which will allow for, again, it's all.
so it's
habit.
really just
It's
the,
habit of people. If they are gonna pull in here because they know parking's right there, they're gonna do it tomorrow. But if they find out we've got additional parking to go in on this side,
no, I think they're gonna pull in, just drive around and park.
which they'll have a lot more room with this proposal than they do today.
I don't see that.
You are, I believe it's 51 feet right here. You are at least, well, it's at least 30 on this side just to get around.
How big is how big is the island, the canopy,
The
you know,
canopy-
that outline that we're looking at there, like, what is
The
that?
canopy
rectangle?
itself is 20 feet wide by 100.
20 feet wide, so if somebody pulls in with a, what is a pickup truck, 19 feet? 20 feet?
Big one, yeah.
Like, yeah, and then like a trailer, another
Right.
15 foot of trailer on the back. I'm just trying to think. So then they're gonna stop at that pump there,
Maybe. Or they'll have to go to the other ones.
and if they need diesel, they're gonna come down this way, right, the diesel's on the bottom,
Diesel's here.
and they're gonna park. And it's how far between the two pumps?
Between these pumps, if it's a 100-foot canopy, you're 24 clear. 27, 10, like that.
So you're worried about people coming in and what? Just the traffic?
I don't see the flow of traffic being that much better than what it is now. Putting the pumps out there. No, that's just,
People park near the front door. How much room do they have to back out to turn?
40 feet. 24.
They're
is
going to pay attention though.
24 is minimum. We try to do minimum of 30 on ours if we've got the room. Because the issue you run into is somebody getting gas here will stick up here with their nose of their car.
Mhm.
And how far did you say it is? then?
40.
It's 40.
It's 40 from the edge of the parking spot to the edge of the concrete.
You know, people are gonna get trained too by the new setup. They're gonna be like, oh, this gets congested if I pull in this way, if I wanna go to the
old
store,
people like me.
you don't get trained.
No.
You don't think if you start
No,
to,
I mean,
running
I
in-
find that very confusing.
that you go,
Sorry.
oh, maybe I'll go to the other entrance,
Yeah.
if I'm going to the store. That's what I would do, I don't know.
If it was a
We
parking
rely
lot,
on-
for instance, and you had like double rows of, and a travel lane, and that travel lane between those perpendicular cars is like 22 feet,
Yeah.
24 maybe at most, so 40's plenty of room to back.
Mhm.
Just for reference.
Are we allowed to say anything else, Lance?
Oh, well, I did not close the public hearing.
Oh.
Some of these new back pumps, like now, when you pull up and you got the two on the inside, You can't go between, so with the new pumps, it'll be wider, so if someone pulls in, they would actually be able to go between.
They will not.
No.
Still
They're 24 between, 24 feet between, so two people can gas at the same
Same
time.
time, you got two
But there will not be space in between for another vehicle.
to try to go.
Correct.
Motorcycle.
But it's not gonna be too deep. It's only gonna be
It's
single.
only-
Yeah, so it's not, you're not gonna have the same issue of trying to get,
Necessarily need to go in between.
So if you're on the front,
Continue on.
Back out and go around, or you can pull forward and go out, there's not gonna be anybody behind you like there is now, correct?
correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
So many permutations.
Right.
Yeah. Left side, that's right.
Is that-
Yes.
Back to the dumpster thing. I mean, how hard is it to just go to the ZBA and ask them for the fence thing?
You just read Scott's letter.
But I
I'm
know,
fine
But
with
that's
6 feet.
entirely
I'm
different.
fine with 6 feet.
but but you're saying, tell me the dumpster is gonna stick out the top.
Yeah,
now.
the
Obviously, we have
the
to,
Premise is it's gonna be a privacy
We've,
screen around the dumpsters.
I feel like we've heard enough tonight to know everyone's been to the store as it sits today. That is a chain link fence at 6 feet.
no, this is like an issue. We were just talking about it. That,
Right,
you know,
and
we need to clean up the dumpsters in the town,
Right.
like, you know, there's a lot of dumpsters sitting. Yeah, I hate to like, you know. I was just at CVS in Kingston. So I do, right? Take a picture.
Well, what's the definition of a
You're,
fence?
you're welcome to call it a dumpster enclosure and not
Or-
a fence,
And
I'm just saying, if you were to build an enclosure instead of a fence,
which a dumpster enclosure.
that's what I'm saying. You know, use a brick, make it match what's on the building. Is that a
Anything in our
fence or is
zoning
that an
ordinance about a
enclosure?
dumpster enclosure?
What's that?
Anything under a zoning ordinance about a dumpster enclosure?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, this is what they had at CVS. They have it in brick.
I mean,
like
that's
this.
what I usually do when I do them, I do them in blocks.
So that
They're on-
Warren wouldn't be a fence and we could ask them to do
Not a
that.
fence, it's an enclosure. It's a structure.
Well, I have to see what our definition of fence is.
I like it. Can you show the applicant?
And you can't put a stockade fence around it.
No,
Call it an
But
enclosure.
it's like a brick thing and then they just have a gate on the front of it.
I think that looks better.
I think it does. It-
Or
it-
you can put.
you
Better than-
match the building material, that it
Trees.
blends right in,
More like a shed without a roof
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can put, there's another.
so I was waiting for my. After the urgent care.
I wrote-
Then you can build it high enough to shield the
Oh,
impact.
We've done them in the past, we've matched the building, you could do, siding and stone right on them to match the building.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I like that. Warren,
There's
you,
no definition for fence in.
okay, so dumpster enclosure, not a fence. We don't need the
It
zero.
does say you can use,
What?
not
Yeah.
trees.
I mean,
What's
So
the-
you're gonna give us, because you're calling it a dumpster enclosure, you can exceed 6 feet.
Well, I know a lot of times when I look at it, I didn't look here, a
Sound good.
lot of times it fits under the definition of structure in the code, not under fence.
Oh, let me see what we have.
I mean, I kind of see, like now, when I looked at one that's there now, it's kind of like you guys had to expand it maybe, or it's like,
For the bottle returns.
yeah, it's just,
It's
looks a
sort
little messy.
Oh, and that's, that our proposal has a bottle return shed. Bottle return machine with a shed on the side to store all that.
Good, good.
So there is not a need. Immediate need, I'm
It
not.
says fence.
Sorry.
What's this?
That's the dumpster.
Doesn't say dumpster enclosure. Shall be screened from view with a 6-foot high opaque fence.
And so we're asking for not a fence, we're asking for screening.
That's fine. I mean, if they, are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Listen, anything the applicant agrees to and you think it's more aesthetically pleasing, go for it. There you go.
One down.
Hmm.
So.
And then obviously we're gonna hear from the county in regards to what Scott wrote about. I don't know how the board obviously feels at this point. We haven't taken any votes or discussed it, but I have, the county's gonna say, we're gonna need a super majority, and they're gonna deny the 239M. So. But we have to wait to see what it says.
Well, one thing struck me out, like
Okay.
Scott said, who said
Dumpster.
a new
Huh?
building
So it sort of says
Would-
dumpster enclosure.
in the
Yeah, what is
view of the comprehensive plan would have to conform to the comprehensive plan. Well, I mean, this is not really a new, I mean, it is a new building, but it's the same site, it's the same business, same style of structure. And and it preceded the plan, the comprehensive plan. For the zoning, it
Right.
preceded the zoning. I don't think that it's gonna offend people to have it work that way. I just, it's the way Pine Plains looks coming in from the south. If there's more plantings, it'll look prettier.
And, that's, our goal is to just, beautify that corner right there, just
Enclosure.
coming in, you see that. I understand the look of the building, we're hoping the wall and plantings up there
Yeah.
do the same effect.
And nobody's gonna expect Stewart's to build a wood frame building 25 feet from the road to make it look good. It's just, it would be the back of the building, as you pointed out last time.
Would be the back of the
And
building,
that's,
and to be honest, Scott mentioned we've done it before. Every site's different. This site does not work for this because it's narrow and deep.
And
If
again,
you're rotated, if this property we knew of was available at the time, yes, you take the building, you put it here against, and then the gas on this side. That's not our property as it sits today.
and I did express our displeasure about that, being that. Again, we sent a letter and said, what do you want this property for? Part of our secret process for that lot line adjustment. And you guys said you had no plans when clearly, and then that conversation, we could have said, can you talk to Dale about north instead of going that way? And then,
When the rumor was already out that you were building a new Stewart's.
I'll tell you this, and
That,
I can apologize for being in the dark on this. Like, I honestly was in the dark. What I was told is we purchased the property from Dale, knowing Dale had plans in the future to develop. We did not want to get stuck, boxed in with the property we had, so we bought it for future use. Unfortunately, future use turned out to be a few months.
hi, Steve. No, come on, have a seat. So the record shows Steve Patterson, member, is here now. He had work and it's at, what time is it? 7:22.
Thanks.
So we were just, do you have any questions on the Stewart's application? We were just going over, we haven't closed the public hearing on the Stewart's yet. No. All right. We're about to. Anything else from George or Warren? Just that easement? We'll wait for that 239M. We'll have to digest that and see what it says. Anything else? Oh,
no,
Vicky?
just that. So he wouldn't, according to this, he would not have to go to the CBA then,
Right, because it's an enclosure.
right, Warren?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
I'm going to close the public hearing. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the public hearing is closed. We can't make any sort of action because we don't have the 239M. We need that easement works between you and Dale. Construction and language or whatever added to it. Is there anything else outstanding? There's no seeker, so we just.
No secrets under 4,000 square.
No
feet.
seeker.
So,
What was it, 39.96?
Yeah,
CBA grabbed it.
yeah. I mean,
CBA did not, well. No, because they made us go under 4,000.
Oh.
Because their code is 4,000 max.
Right.
So they
We
did.
were at 40/20.
Being in the gas business really should have been 39.99.9.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, so. The walls, right? You're gonna
Yeah, we don't have it.
talk about the walls matching the field stone or whatever. The enclosure, you guys work on that.
Was updated, the detail on it was updated to show the stacked. field
Okay.
stone. The enclosure I'll
Yeah.
adjust, and then
We wait
we'll
till the
get the
county.
wording from Dale
I'm assuming it'd be
on
the same.
the access easement and go from there.
Right.
Who knows?
Seeing, well, our next meeting's August, so, yeah, it's 2 weeks. But we'll have you on the agenda because we'll have heard from the county by then. They're promising us tomorrow. Awesome.
518 312
Yeah,
30
all right.
40. Is that officially in the record now?
It's out to YouTube. I might have went with the muting, but it was too.
Yeah, I'll be getting a new number.
Okay.
So what'd you say it was 867?
5309. That's for Jenny.
All right,
All right, thank
thank
you.
you. So next up, we have the Stissing Center. You got here just in time for the. Record showed Steve is recusing from this for his connection with the Stissing Center. The Stissing Center Public Hearing Site Plan Amendments. We can run, is it cool out? Is it still hot out?
It's not here.
Once it gets dark, I get those two people. Turn the one on in the back.
Did Bobby leave? Bobby.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby.
Drew, can you just turn that one on in the back for a little bit? This, I can't put this one on. It comes over the mic, like, really bad. Okay, so Stissing Center, you guys, wanted to give a little quick presentation on your thing, and then, just as part of the public hearing, can I have a, motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Stissing Center public hearing is open.
Good evening. My name is Brett Bernardini. I'm the Executive Director at the Stissing Center. Just a couple of things before we open all of this up. Our architect is here, Doug Larson. We made some revisions to the drawings. The concrete on the back end has been lowered. We added more glass to make it more appealing. We had to keep the dark areas dark. Dressing rooms, hallways to those dressing rooms and such, but you have the revisions in front of you after hearing your comments from the last meeting. And if you have questions specifically about those plans in front of you, Doug is here to answer those for you.
I have a question. Did you bring the bigger copies? Or just? We had no.
What do you mean? We just have digital copies?
Yeah,
Can we pull it up?
I thought your email said that you were gonna bring the digitals, I mean, the copies, or bring them up.
We sent both sides to the county.
The county was asking for the printed. We had only sent digital to this.
So you said the new ones, the ones
Yeah, yeah,
that we haven't.
just in time for the
really seen
Stissing Center.
except for the digital. That's my.
We also reorganized the drawing so that there's no reference to prior approvals. It just shows what's been completed and what remains to be done.
I just want to put in the record for 7/20, what is that? 7/28. Kate Osowski is now here, board member, but she is recusing from this application. Okay, so what do we, so what was the revisions for the back? Did you take us to like? Sure.
Not the front of them.
They should start with plans.
I know, I have the right one.
Yeah, let's make sure we're looking at the right top of this one.
Now, this is the old one.
Are they not in one big PDF?
I had two PDFs.
Oh, that's because Connor sent you,
Yes, oh, I have it. No, you're sure.
right, and the other, this single PDF superseded one of these. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is, for your rest of the last meeting, we just reorganized the whole submission. So that it's the whole submission again, and it only blocks out what is completed. So this is the site plan here with the zoning setback shown. This is the setback that was relaxed in the last couple of years, allowing us to make the rear addition simpler. Here's all the parking calculations, adjacent property owners, these are all taken care of on the first submission. So we're showing the addition of the this parcel that we purchased. So you can keep going to the next one. So this is the landscape plan and revise this. We include this parcel here. We had already applied for all this fencing and everything, but the landscape plan wasn't revised, so we revised that with the plantings. And the plantings around here and the walkways to accommodate the different shape in the rear. So that's been revised. This is the site utilities plan. Showing the relocation of propane tanks and the condensing units are. Go to the next one. This is the use of the spaces in the building, showing what's been completed. The auditorium has been completed. The mezzanine of the auditorium has been completed. The front entry has been completed. But everything that doesn't say completed is what we're applying for. So the offices and the gallery upstairs, the rear addition of the elevator and the fire stair and some mechanical equipment. I guess you can slide up a little bit. The dressing rooms in the back on the mezzanine level. The front mezzanine, which is needs to be renovated still. And the lower level with the lower venue and the kitchen. Our mechanical rooms completed, bathrooms are completed. So here's the elevations adjusted to the new rendering. Well, the front porch is completed, but we still need to put the railing on, so that's shown not completed. The side porch we'd still like to do, and the rear addition with the glass, the whole lobby is glass now. This area where the mural would be is dark, has to be dark because it's backstage and dressing rooms. This is the staircase, which we were going to put the translucent material on. Here's the lobby, all glass again. This level and this level are the dark spaces backstage and dressing rooms. And this is the exit hallway from the auditorium. This is the egress door. So that needs to be dark because it's a hallway. If those doors were to open, if it were to be glass, light would come in to the performance space. It might be easier to see on the rendering, so you can scroll up to the next one. This is what had been previously approved, and you can see we simplified it. Glass at the lobby. We lowered the concrete down to the same level it is on the existing building, which is down here. And this is an example of this material that would be around the staircase. That's this material right here. So there's a picture of similar application against a historic building. You can slide up a little bit more. This is looking at it from the other direction. The staircase and the translucent, you can see through the lobby. This is the circulation, the hallways that backfeed the offices, the dressing rooms, and the stage area and the staircase. So that could be glass. That doesn't need to be dark. And it's the exit hallway for the auditorium.
And you can see, again, the existing concrete line around the building is right here, so we just matched it.
Is there not an egress on that side, the low grade?
Over on the other side,
No,
No, it would be on the left side.
it's there.
this one right here,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
yeah, it's like a service entrance for the kitchen.
So that's, okay.
It's staying, yeah.
So there'd be a wall there. You're leaving the wall, right?
Right now, it's just a very low wall.
What's about what, a 4-foot high piece
Yeah.
of PDA?
Yeah, it's covered with plywood to keep it
Right.
water from going in the drain.
Oh, boy. So what is it gonna be? It's just gonna
We're
be,
gonna rebuild it with a proper railing and a wall. It's a concrete retaining wall with a staircase. So it's there, we're gonna fix it. Okay, I guess you can scroll up. This is all the subsurface drainage, which has all been put in, so I just resubmitted with work completed. And you can scroll up. This is just construction notes, siltation fence, things like that. Prepare, protecting the site during construction, so that's required. These are the details for the subsurface drainage, which is already installed. And this is the lighting diagram, which was revised to include for the new shape and to include this little parking area here. So it's the same as we submitted before, just with those two additions. So that's the complete submission sort of brought up to we'd like to do with the prior approvals removed and the completed act. All the paperwork remains the same, with narrative and
and none of these lights are changing that we already talked about, right? Or are they,
no,
they're all the same fixtures
It's all the
and they're all 3000 Kelvin
yes,
downlit.
yes. No uplights.
Can we go back up a few maps? What is this thing at the bottom here? Interlocking, keep going up, like almost to the beginning. Like on the first or second map.
From the very.
Yeah,
Walkways?
no. Or maybe, maybe I'm mixing it. It was, okay, go down, slightly down. Oh, yeah, what are those little rectangles? No, go back up. This, what is this?
Here?
No, these rectangles, but underneath the pavers.
Oh, that, this is grass.
Oh, that's grass.
This
not
is a
paver.
walkway of interlocking pavers.
Right, and then underneath that, so what is those rectangles there? You know,
That's like stepping stones. People walk this way
oh, it's just stepping
Yeah.
stones. I
to get
see.
through the grass. We wanted some, right now, it's all just gravel. The whole thing is gravel.
Okay, so there's a dry well underneath just in the beginning. See, I was confused by that. I thought that meant that the whole thing was some sort of dry well.
Yeah, no, it's stepping stone.
Got it.
So this is a manhole, and those are the subsurface drainage drawings.
Grass.
But people walk this way, so we didn't want to stop them from walking this way.
What creeping lily turf? What is that?
That's from our landscape. plan.
It's just a type of grass.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the. Well, first, actually, we should get the public. See if there's anyone from the public here looking to comment. Okay, can we go to the renderings of the side / rear? This is, they're not all either way. So I made a phone call to Brett after the last meeting and what was I had asked about the whole big giant mural thing. I've actually heard from some members of town board about it too. So I'm trying to understand. So what did you find out? We talked about like maybe to try to get the building more and conforming what's there. Was brick possible or anything, or I take it it's not possible or?
So Doug and I spoke about that directly.
It's now.
Rick was brick is an exceptional challenge. Doug can speak to that far more than I can. The idea of putting the mural there is really simple. We want to put up a space that captures Pine Plains. We want people to come in from the back. We want people to understand this is Pine Plains. We want to, the picture that's there is simply a placeholder. It's a historical photo we used as a placeholder. That's not what's already there. We'd like to work with some artists and create some really beautiful projects that really capture what Pine Plains is. Since we are a center of arts and culture, we figured that was an appropriate space back there. And to your point, by enlarging the mural, we do away with all those aluminum pieces that were back there. We do away with concrete back there, and we make it a focal point for when you pull into the back.
And the brick was why is that not a possibility?
Well, first of all, matching old brick is almost impossible. And I'm sure you've driven around and seen real buildings with new brick. Like new brick is really ugly and it's all the same red and to have a brick mass floating here above glass would look really strange. And it's in addition to an historic structure. If you read the Secretary of Interior standards, they're standards they don't copy the original. Do something new that is identifies its age.
Right, but this also is a small rural town with a comprehensive plan that asks for that. This is much better. There's no glass and right, it does have the previously approved in 16, which the county approved. And now we have this massive glass. We have two huge murals.
If I can interject, the murals are meant to honor Pine Plains and to celebrate Pine Plains.
I know what you're trying to do.
Let me finish. The glass allows us, your comments, to be able to see through into the space at night in the same way that you do at the front. That rear tower with that translucent
That
material.
wasn't my comment. I was agreeing with Helene at the time.
The translucent material on the back, when it is lit at night, provides ambient light for the parking so that we don't have to put up external lighting back there. There is no, that's a mess at nighttime. So the
you
building,
totally, from what it was previously approved, totally have totally made a whole new.
correct, and we were able to
Right.
do that when the setback was changed. We were able to, as opposed to doing this convoluted structure, which they had to make convoluted in order to deal with the setback. By removing those setback restrictions.
Actually, the previous approved, I feel is much better than all of that.
Okay,
I
that's,
mean, that's my, and I know
Clearly.
it doesn't go along with the New York interior, but
The previously approved was very busy. This is much simpler and cleaner. And we were forced to do that by the
and
setback.
I'd like to see what the murals are gonna be eventually.
we would commission artists, because murals are
But we'd
permanent.
like, I think we could,
And when we get to that point, I'm happy to share those with you. We are not at that point. We will, because those artists are going to change, Vicky. That is going to change over time. That is not a stagnant image that will stay there for 30 years in the building.
So what is that material that the mural would be on? Is it just?
It's just a substrate that you can apply.
Right.
Substrate that you can apply, what does that mean?
what is the wall?
It's right. It would be concrete. It would be a stud wall with the cladding that can be like exterior grade plywood or something like MDF plywood, which you can apply graphics to.
And the graphics would be some, like almost like a billboard, like a thing they glue on, is that how that
It
works?
could be
So
a
then
line.
that would all be inside and
Yeah, it's a real wall behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the back of the dressing rooms and all the whole backstage area, which is why that has to be dark.
So it would be canvas that somebody would put on, or they would actually go up and paint it.
Both.
Depends on the media.
It could be both. It could be everything from get something printed and stick it up there to a canvas to somebody painting on it, yes.
So you usually give a versatile substrate.
Okay, and then the porch style has changed?
No, the porch is,
Porch is still the same.
Well, that porch does not look like that porch.
this is a, we can go to the drawing. Want to go to the drawing?
So that was
There,
the
that's
one
the
that was
porch.
approved.
Right.
It's the same porch.
This is the one that was
Yeah.
approved.
Or that's the one they're doing.
That's the one you're doing.
It's just that dark.
The rendering is just simple.
And it
It's
doesn't have
exactly like the front porch without the glass.
Okay.
Same roof, same rafters, and
And the banners? Which you don't
that
show
house
on
is an
this.
operational thing that I think we're still figuring out.
On the side we're talking about? Or in the
Where the
front?
banners, where you saw them last time, Vicky, where you saw the drawings with lots of banners.
Right,
I'm gonna say it publicly, I'm not a huge fan of having building with banners. First off, I will tell you, it makes enormous, excuse me, Chair. This is one of the things that's wrong with this drawing. Is there's a big tree here, so this is a whole lot of money.
Thing is that this
Yeah, yeah.
should not be there.
Yeah.
There should be a fence there.
Correct, there's a fence right here,
Right,
and then there's trees, so these kind of banners, you're not gonna see them.
right.
If it's, as the executive director, this is my concept of banners, not all this. These are incredibly expensive, and you can't see these.
And we
there's
also
no way to
have
see
in
'em.
our zoning, we do have something about banners.
Okay,
And I went back through all the minutes or tape, whatever. And in 16, when this was originally up and the subject came up. Both you and Jack said they were temporary, they would not be hanging only for a short period of time. And or they would be rolled up. So I'm just saying that.
It
And
was a way of announcing shows and Winton came. up
right,
with
no,
those.
I,
And then
right,
that COVID happened, and we
I-
haven't done it since,
right.
but it
Um,
was, we don't have a marquee, and we took away. The way of announcing shows on the steps at the last meeting, so I would think you'd wanna put something on. the front
Yeah,
saying
no, I, right,
absolutely,
well,
Where would that be?
where they are right now.
They are.
The ones that come long in
right,
There's
the,
four
between the
places-
girders.
There's 4 places we can put them.
That
And
are on the front of the building, yes.
but would you put up 4 all at once, the front and the side?
I
I mean,
don't. And part of the problem that I was trying to convey to you, Vicky, one of the problems we have right now is there's beautiful trees there. Which is fine in the off season, I can put up the side banners. What's that?
They're smelly trees.
I love those trees. But as you drive either way on Church Street, once the trees leave out, the side banners can't be seen.
No, right,
So could I do it in the fall or the winter if we have something big? Sure. Would they be up when the trees leaf out? It's wasted money on the
Right.
sides. The front is consistent, the sides, for lack of a better term, would end up being seasonal.
and the one side you can't see it anyway,
Correct,
from the gray house, that side you can't.
correct.
That's a,
the original idea was to announce shows when they're happening.
right.
So you figure the banners, not the banners, I'm sorry, the murals would. Or could go towards trying to bring in some more of the historical element or.
It would
to
absolutely,
to. Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
the murals themselves would be artistic and in celebration of Pine Plains. Those murals on the back of the building, in no way, so long as I'm here, are those billboards advertising our shows. That will always be about celebrating Pine Plains. One of my favorite artists we were talking about, I don't know that he could ever do it. It's way too small of a space. There's a gentleman is it Sao Paulo? Who's the guy? JR, who literally took photographs of all the residents and plastered it all over the homes of these people in the slums of Sao Paulo. I think that's where it is. Don't quote me on that. And it's stunning. Would I love to do something similar on those spaces and celebrate the face of Pine Plains? Absolutely. Would I like to bring an artist and even put up those pictures and celebrate the history of Pine Plains? Absolutely. I want that to be Pine Plains, full stop. That's what I want that space to be.
So it's really public art, it's not advertised.
It's not advertising.
Right, but then we get into like it's I don't know where the line between a mural and a sign.
The sign is, we have a show on this day at this
Right.
time.
I was looking at Warren when I said that.
What's the reaction to the side of Rosie's?
Right, well, that's a mural, right? Like, you know, I just, maybe started advertising shows or something, then you're having this
No, they won't,
giant
but they
sign,
won't.
which is bigger than any sign that
'Cause
is
it's too
allowed
big.
by the town.
And the other point of it is the location of where it is. Off the north, south, east, west drives. You're really not seeing
Not
it
an
unless you
advertising
get in a
space.
taco or going.
Well, actually, the back is probably now the real entranceway in. From the way, you know,
At least in the parking.
from the parking lot, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know.
For shows, people will
still enter the front of the building.
It's entrance for the offices and the actors,
Oh,
but you can't really get to the auditorium in a nice way. through the
oh,
side.
even
You
with
still
the,
have to-
you'll still have to go in the front.
That's where the box office is, that's where.
This is like the business, the other side is the public.
Stairs in the front, you show, so you're getting rid of the concrete.
This is, that right now, Vicky, that's all wood.
It's wood.
That's a
Oh,
big
it's wood.
wooden barrier that was put up temporarily. So now we're, want to put up these
Oh,
open
right, no,
railings.
okay, I thought this was, why did I think it was concrete?
And that's because they couldn't do the concrete because of the DOT. Right, exactly.
All right. And Ethan had a comment about.
Yeah, we're,
I have all of these. I have one of my own, now, because of inquiry, what's happening with the laundromat? In this plan,
We are still investigating where. And until we have a where it is comfortably ensconced where it is, it will stay there. We're working on it. It will stay open. If not in our facility, we will make it stay open. It is not going away. Not so long as I'm here.
okay, so this is on behalf of Ethan, who couldn't be here tonight. And this was discussed last time, split rail fence. That's between you and the yard on the east side. Does that require an easement from them?
it's on the property line, right?
It's on our
Oh, it's
property.
on our-
Oh, it's on your property.
Never mind that one.
So the story with the fence is we put a little section to prevent people from
Right.
falling in the
Yeah.
retaining. And then the Stissing House came
So, ooh,
and brought their fence to us unbeknownst, not knowing that it was on our property.
Right.
By how many feet is it? I mean,
About 2 feet.
oh, it's not crazy.
So, we'll address it. It didn't seem like the thing to pick a fight over.
Right.
With our new neighbor.
But now,
And we've got how many years for Everest possession takes? 10 more years, so.
I'm thinking after show parties at a discount, partial rent maybe.
I like that thing. We'll work on that. I'll call Claire.
Well, we'd still like to work together.
And we talked about they,
so are the stairs going to the fence to your line,
Yes.
to the true line, or to the line that's there now, the fence.
The new recessed steps would go right to the lot.
to the lot line? So, and
oh,
are you going to put something along there?
Yeah, there's a fence. Yeah, there's a
Okay,
fence shown.
there is a fence.
Ethan's next point is about the front steps, I think it was referred to moments ago. That the front steps were supposed to be concrete and they're not. That's-
They can't
DOT,
be.
they
Can't be,
can't.
okay. No worries there. The back doors to downstairs should match the already established east side basement doors and design. But there's,
Could you say that again?
Say what's
he
there?
says the back doors into the downstairs
The back.
should match the already established east side basement doors.
He's talking about door number 6, Doug,
Door number 6.
and door number 5, and door number 4.
Oh, but those all go away. Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry,
They're
now.
just gonna go away.
All those doors go away. The ones he's talking about, they all go away. They are there. The rear addition rendered them useless.
Gotcha.
And they can't currently be glass, Dick, because they are the rear stage and the rear, we need them to be dark.
Be dark, yeah. Gotcha.
So explain that again, which doors are,
On the back of the building, there's like 4 doors.
There's 3 doors,
There's
4, 5, and 6.
and plus the lobby.
Well, I don't count.
all right, well, all right,
So this is an egress door, which will look exactly like it does now. We're just bringing it forward into the new addition. That's this one. This egress is house
All right.
right. This door right here, which is in the shadows, is existing and it will stay. That is a fire door that comes out of the house
Okay, so
left
that's a
fire
fire
exit, right? The laundromat doors here will be absorbed and disappear. And the door that's up here, which opens right onto the stage, will be inside the building.
So you won't see it.
Right, because right now, in order for actors,
That's where all that rear decking is built on the back, Vicky. If you're,
So
if you're at
is
the
that
very,
what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
because he's referring to what's there now. So right now, the actors have to
Now
go
I understand.
outside.
I thought he was referring to these doors. And these doors underneath here.
they'll all be the same.
Same, okay.
Would the applicant consider matching the light fixtures at the town hall that's on South Main Street instead of light fixture A on the last page of the site?
It's like fixture A.
The
Light
ones
fixtures
from
on South
Taste of New York. And it's in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Is
the
that right?
ones we were gonna put match the ones
There you go.
at Taste New York. I don't, you've probably seen it. So it's a wooden pole with a light that shines
That one there,
straight
Doc.
down.
The gooseneck.
To be honest, it's better than the ones that we,
Yeah.
it was because it's like down lit instead of going
Yeah,
up.
the town lights light in all directions.
Yeah.
Like, we want
So
to.
that's better.
I'm just saying,
No.
it's a plan to have them all the same, so I just,
No, they should all be like that.
yeah. They should.
There's a two more. Banners are all set. Per section 275-52. The lights should be off between midnight and 6 AM. And we should have this written in the site plan agreement.
They are. They are.
Well, it should be written on the plan in our lighting, zoning. It does say for events or things like that, 12 to 6, they should be off.
Okay,
It is in our.
I'm
code.
just curious, have they ever been on?
What?
I'm not being facetious, I'm
Is he
truly
talking
asking,
about I leave the cube light on overnight? Is that what he's
which is in
referring
the
to?
lobby.
It's in the lobby.
No.
I think he's just saying that it should be in the plan,
Right, it should be in the plan that the,
not that you're not doing.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. So it's a matter of language.
right.
Okay.
Well, you might once in a while have a show that goes past midnight, just.
I'm getting old. Oh, no.
Night planes, come on.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, if it's in, what is it? That's in our zoning code that you have to. I would wanna see that.
It is.
I'll look, I just wanna see the language.
Okay, I'll give you this.
Yeah, I'll look at, Go ahead.
And one other thing,
Just give me, sorry, give me 275,
right there.
52, okay.
C1B. Signs. Are in place, are they being approved in the same process? Signs on the site.
What signs?
Well, the
Change of
direction
and the-
signs.
Yeah, we've already gone through this.
I want to know what
December.
things you want to do.
Is Sarah talking to us or she, no, she's just. What, no, wait, what signs are we talking about? The one in the street? Like by the street entrance? Is that what we're talking about?
It's the only sign there is.
What's the words to center over both front or back?
Well, we'll get to
Yeah.
that.
It's not
No, I think he
considered
meant
directional sign.
in the back, you had the directory sign. You had other signs around something out, the sign out front. I think that's what,
Traffic control signs? Is that what you were talking about?
well, the sign out front, which in the driveway, which was gonna be one way, which is not.
Oh, for
which is
the one you
gonna
guys
be-
approved in December.
You said
The
it-
sign that's gonna replace where that ugly laundromat sign was,
Yes,
yeah,
that,
Yeah, it's right
I
here.
think he means all the signs, have they all been,
This is the only one right here.
that's it.
right, and did we ever get the size on that?
Mhm.
Okay.
And one last
Which
thing,
is what, how high
uh,
is it gonna be?
I think it's
Six,
6 feet. The
please.
discussion was you thought it was tall and then we
Oh, right,
mentioned the
okay.
fact that cars.
And that was the sign.
And it's
Ethan
gonna be
believes, and
on the other
I
side of the tree, which.
kind of
I don't think
agree that
anybody's gonna say.
We're pushing it past the DOT, right?
the side sign that says Stissing CTR should spell out center.
We have
Yeah, I think that,
Stissing CTR.
Well,
yes,
can you go to that?
So it says the Stissing CTR,
Heard it.
so you could,
Heard
so
say,
I
different,
ostensibly, you could just change, get rid of the and make it Stissing Center. It's the same number of letters.
oh, that's. Because it looks so much nicer in the back.
On the left there.
Yeah, it didn't fit on the sides, so we can. The sides are short and you wouldn't be able to see it, so I mean, we can definitely play with.
Why don't you see how Stissing Center looks as opposed to this?
Right.
The letters would be this high and you'd
Drop
like.
the the.
you'd
Well,
have
if you
to
get rid of
triangular.
the, it's the same number of letters, right? You're missing an E N.
That's part of the,
Part of the
that
name.
won't go away.
What's
That
that?
center's
We're
part
not
of
gonna
the
get rid of the, that's part of the.
name.
We'll come back with that.
We'll figure that out. That's minor.
We'll do a separate sign application.
Whatever, I don't, but I
No,
mean,
it
it
should
didn't
all be
strike
on
me
this
as
one.
curious too, like why I went with CTR instead
Well,
of
actually,
dropping
I
the
think
on
I
the
think it
sign.
should wrap around the corner.
Technically, we get in the weeds. Technically, the formal name on paper is
Yes.
the Stissing Center.
Could do upper
It's like the
lowercase.
Ohio State University or something.
Exactly. Thank you.
No, the, sorry, the, all right, so again, we didn't hear from the county. But they said it's likely going to be, they gave us a heads up, matter of local concern. The 239M referral. But they didn't officially get it out to us yet. It's supposed to be coming. Actually, all right, so. Anyone else have any more questions?
Oh, can you go back to one of the very first ones, about the fence and the dumpster? Oh, we're on dumpsters.
Oh, I guess we have to go to the landscape.
No, it's the other one, Doug. That one.
I think there's a detail up.
Oh, is there?
Keep going.
Top.
No, they drew.
Yeah, it's, you have to go back down. I think it's right in here. There you go, right there.
Ah, what
So
is that?
6 feet high opaque fence. Made of wood.
So where's the dumpster gonna be?
In
It's here.
Right here.
With the
So
mechanicals.
the-
We're screening all the
Yeah.
mechanicals.
Yeah.
Condensing units, the
Right,
generator.
and- but the truck is gonna be able to back in there?
Well, they don't back in. go
They
in
come in
front,
front way.
And they will be able to go in there, yes,
The,
absolutely.
this, the opening,
How big is that opening, do you know, Tom?
I didn't mention it, but it'll be big enough for a truck. I hope so. I mean, it'd be really bad if they build a fence into the truck.
Our dumpster,
where is that? Is that fence just around there?
It's over, the fence starts here. Comes around the corner a little bit, goes all along here. Because the code, zoning code requires a fence next to residential. District, and then it comes around. The propane tanks, the dumpster. The electric service, the generator,
Right,
and the condensing units.
so there's a big, so the fence is gonna go all the way across?
It starts here. Doesn't go all the way across. And this is the Catholic Church's field. It starts here. And comes around like this, goes around. And closes the back. So this run and this run are required by the zoning code. And closing the dumpster is required by the zoning code. We just thought
Why is that?
this is residential.
The abandoned house. next
that's
to
the
us,
abandoned house between us and Champet.
Which has broken windows and.
And our dumpster, Vicky, just so you know, I'm sure you've seen it. It's not the really super big
No,
ones.
no,
It's
I
the
know.
medium sized one.
So,
Where's Champetra's property?
2 houses away.
2 houses over.
So not even on this,
Nope.
No, So the building you see to the right, up near the road, that's the Shaw House. And then next to it is that abandoned house.
The White House.
And then next to that, literally in the shadow of that house is Sean Petra.
So it's catty corner off this corner, right?
Nice.
And Sean Petra's people tend to park in that very back corner, so they're close to the restaurant.
Well, we gave them.
Which, so. That fence, okay, I'm
What?
confused. No, so the, not the Shaw House, but the next house. You've put a fence across their property?
No.
No,
it's
okay.
On our lot line.
Oh, okay.
And it's in the zoning code to separate what?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's required.
just because you're commercial or
Yeah.
something between. residential?
Drew? There's something about that? I don't either.
I'll see if I can find it. And then Melody, she's pretty good.
Yeah, she is, I agree.
Alright.
But the other thing is the neighbors asked us to speak, right? So this was put there to keep the neighbors happy, this section right here. 2 neighbors over.
The other side of it.
They already have a fence up. That's not.
Okay.
I mean, we liked having the visual connection to the field, the Catholic Church's field.
And my other question is, when you. If it snows and you have a lot of snow, this is gonna be a. Solid fence?
It's alternating slats.
Oh, okay, so. So that when you plow snow, because that's not very wide down here.
They're gonna push it to the back parking lot.
They'll just
somewhere.
probably push it right back to here.
That's what they do now.
Is there a curb there between the grass and the gravel, like in front of that? In front of that? No, it's just gonna
No,
be,
we're just gonna stop it.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's just more country. They've got the.
right, no, I was just
they're doing
wondering,
Curbs, it looks
Yeah.
like.
so they'll be able to just
like
kind of
fewer
push
air
through.
quarters.
So I just have a question. Because. So if. That house is sold, the vacant house, the old Herman's house. And. It snows, you're gonna have the snow, so they're not gonna be able to get to the back. Of their property.
They have no easement. There's no way onto that property.
There, we throw it down.
There's no driveway, there's no sidewalk, there's nothing, which is why Sean Petra parks back here. There's,
Only, so you should know, new to Pine Plains, everybody has always used that. For whatever, when it was,
Right, but it-
Herman's, whenever, so, or. Whatever it was the diner, people always,
park
you know,
back there.
right, parked
Got it.
back there, drove
Walk
back
across
there.
the vacant lot to get there.
Well, but I'm saying to get to the vacant. No, not.
But what
to
it
get to-
was, so they-
Just to get to. The old Herman's house. They're not, you know,
But it's not
The
their
line is there.
property, I mean, it's not their property, I mean, it's nice that they were allowed to, though, but I mean. They don't have to let them do that,
well, isn't that nice?
what?
Nobody's out there in 40 years.
I know, but if somebody did buy it and lived there, they have no way to get to their backyard.
They should consider that before they buy the property.
Well, everybody.
No,
else's backyard.
zoning
Nobody else
should
can
have
get to their
considered
backyard.
that.
What do you mean, like to get like if they need to do construction on there or something?
If they need to get into their backyard, they're saying they can't go over their property.
But
No,
don't,
we didn't say that. We actually put a gate in the fence there in case someone wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But we never said nobody can.
that house doesn't have like any side yard at all?
No.
They can't, so you can't go
But there's a
Around-
driveway that's
There's a
about
driveway.
driveway,
as big as this table.
so they, okay,
They could never get a car through there today.
I don't understand the issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
if they need to do work, they can get around their building, then get to the back and they have a gate. That
But
if they have good relations with,
Yeah, okay.
They could just ask for
That's what happens
bring it
here
back.
on planes, everybody.
oh, I drive up my neighbor's driveway all the time. We have a understanding, I ask and. Maybe over the years now, I've asked so many times, I gotta just do it if I need to, but if somebody else moved in there, I could lose that access. I don't have any easement.
I'm willing to take that bet. It's been 40+ years. I think we should cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Talking in eventualities.
All right,
I'm just pointing out that the center of town has a problem.
okay. Is there anything else? I'd like to close the public hearing. Are we good?
Close it, I'm done, I'm finished.
I move we close public hearing. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Public hearing is now closed. We have to wait. We can't take any action. Obviously, we don't even have the 2:39 M. We'll see you in August.
Good job on the art channel production, by the way.
Yeah, it's August 9th. It's only 2 weeks away.
I feel like
Glad you enjoyed it. It's our pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Sorry about that, my friend.
Does anyone need to use the restroom? Should we take a?
Did that answer that question?
Review it.
Where we have.
Are we taking a
What is that?
5-minute break?
What's that?
Was there an-
Are we taking a-
Yeah, take a 5-minute break.
Yeah. came for you.
For the APEC.
Not for Apex,
No, what do you think?
the daycare.
Both of
Yeah,
them came
they
through.
haven't
it.
gotten The license from social service, so,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
yeah, can't approve that. without a license.
Well, we'll let them know what
Yeah,
we need.
I think it's the first.
This is the first meeting on any of this. This is all new. Apex and Heaven's Light are new applications. We have to just read and vote on the Alchemy Pure resolution that you
Yeah.
do.
And you need to respond to the referral for the moratorium law to the.
Yes, we haven't met since they did
Yeah,
that.
no, I understand. but You can't vote on it until we get your input.
Right.
Can we table it? For the next meeting,
What?
solar discussion.
No, they need that. Oh, well, I guess they won't meet before, but I hate to. Well, let's see. I know it's taking a while. As you. Anyone else need the restroom? No?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'll run there.
So you didn't punch your windshield, did you?
Right.
I had a friend of mine in high school did that. Got so mad at his girlfriend that he punched his windshield and jammed with his hand.
Never a good idea.
That worked out. That worked out.
His
for you.
point.
Now you're ticked off and you have a broken hand.
Cracked windshield.
Why lucky he cracked it. You know
Oh,
how hard a
yeah.
windshield is?
You didn't crack it.
It's like laminated. You have a shot on a side.
Break when you want them to, but.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I wonder if someone could put this. Let's see what.
Did you get the SOS from him, did you?
No, but I'm a little, my wife is. All right, next up on the agenda, Reverend Sarah from, as we know her from the Heavens Light Bakery, is now looking to open a daycare. Can we pull up this site plan?
Yeah, sorry, but.
Okay, that's a narrative. Whoa.
I have the actual.
There we go. What do you have? You have an actual,
Yeah, I paid for it. Yeah, I could show you that.
do we not have that yet?
No, it just, it's still dark and maybe.
Ah,
easy
okay.
to see.
Well, that's fine. No, keep the,
I'm just sharing.
yeah, it's the same thing though.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just.
So obviously we're talking about, this is where the doctor's offices used to be, near the car wash, et cetera. So.
Oh,
Alright.
sure. So, yeah, so I'd like to do, it's like, daycare for school age children. I've had a lot of years of educational experience. And I think, from all the people I spoke to coming in the Bay, they're very excited. I hear a lot of people needing a daycare. I've even, I just ran into a lady who asked me if I would consider having special ed there. I think that's a great idea. One certified, a regular teacher, one special ed teacher. Because I'm hearing a lot of that, help, me as well. Brett sent me a list of requirements and I tried the best I could to go through them. And he told me just do the best you can on the whole list. One of the things that I'm hoping to get a waiver for, because unfortunately it hurt the children's playground a lot, is if that there's a 50-foot from boundary line, rule, I guess, in the requirements he sent me, and that's fine for the tree line. That's perfectly fine. And I spoke to the neighbor over there. They're very happy, to keep the tree line up. They're fine with that. But on that side, where the field is, if I go in 50 feet, it's gonna make it really narrow and long, and I won't be able to put a swing set. And I would feel really bad for the children if we can't have a nice swing set. So my plan was like a nice swing set, on the side, and then a nice grass area to play. And I seeded all that. That was all gravel. So it really looks nice. The grass now is growing. And then maybe in the back have some picnic tables, maybe a little sand area. And between me and the doctor, he was very nice to give it as much room as we possibly can, but we're gonna lose a lot of space for that. We won't be able to do it. There's no way I could do a swing set, slide. It's gonna be very narrow. And it'll still meet requirements for 15, 20, whatever we get approved of. I think there's a certain square footage rule.
Okay, all right, let's, so how many children are you looking to have in this take?
So, between Emmanuel, Vaughn, and Pat, if we kind of ask, let's just try 15, let's say 15, but we'll see what we'll see what Drew ends up saying for certificate of occupancy. We'll see what the inspections say. And
Are you making, what does the inside of that building look like right now?
oh, there's another. map
Is
of
it
that.
like it was with the doctor's office, or the
Yeah,
walls
yeah.
have changed?
No, we're not gonna change anything because according to the daycare, you have to have a room for them to rest. You have to have a sick room. I was gonna have 2 classrooms. I was gonna have 2 lounges. There's certain square footage rules per child. I think it's 35 square feet per child. If they're just playing, in like a lounge situation, I think it's 20 square feet per child in a classroom. So I think I could get 5 kids in a classroom, but maybe 3 kids in a lounge. So, if every room was used at full capacity, I don't know if it's between 15 to 25, but I don't know if they're gonna go with that. They may say, no, you have to have certain rooms open and you have to rotate. I don't know what they're gonna say.
And how many square feet is this, the entire
Oh, I think I wrote it in the letter. I think I tried to add it up as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
But the sad, I really was hoping for the waiver. I think everybody, when I speak to the folks in Pine Plains, they would really appreciate if they did have a swing set.
Okay.
So
All right,
I'm
well,
trying to see what we did.
Let's get work on the building first, then we'll get to the swing set then. So how many, where is the square footage for the actual daycare?
There's another drawing, I think.
Yes.
Do we have any-
I didn't.
Is it
Ah.
120 feet?
Here it is,
Yeah, we kind of, we measured,
100 square.
yeah, so we figured that with that, I think it's 35 square foot rule. Well, yeah, that's a sick area, so.
What rules are these you're quoting? That's the state,
Yeah.
what
rules.
agency regulates this? Social services?
I have, yeah, I don't know, it was very complicated, so I think it's now the Westchester Regional Office. Child daycare, it was very hard to figure out where I had to go, it's not Dutchess County, I had to go to Westchester, and then,
County has a say in it too.
yeah, okay,
Just to
yeah.
add another layer.
And then I found this article,
Social services law, section 39.
let's see this, all right, I've been, this is my reference.
I'm sorry, 139 what?
Section childcare, daycare are licensed. The license and registration requirements are set forth in section 390 of the New York State Social Services Law.
Thank you. And what, have you contacted them yet?
Yeah, so it's called the New York State Child Daycare Regulations, part 414, school age childcare. So there's 0.1 to 0.15. So I went through this whole regulation manual. We highlighted, everything that would pertain to setting it up. I'm hoping.
So what, where are you in the process with this agency? Like, where
So
are
the
they?
folks, this man named Shlomo, he was a fire safety inspector in there, so he completely knew all. He says the rules, he said you have to go before the planning board first, you must get approval first. Then you fill out, I think it's called a FAMS application, FAMS. I watch it, I think I have to watch like an orienteering course online, something, you just watch it. You don't have to pass a test or anything. And then there's an application you fill out, and then they can do a pre-inspection. So they'll come and,
All right,
look at
so
everything.
they're looking for our approval.
Yes.
Warren, is that your understanding that our approval comes before, we would have,
You have to give
a
special permit and site plan approval, but
right?
you can't touch that until it's approved by the Department of Social Services.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Sounds like a conflicting story.
Not for a daycare. I mean, that
This is
has.
their department. I spoke to a lot of different places, and the Westchester Regional Center is now the place you go to get answers for this area. They said, where's your zip code? Where's the area? And they sent me there multiple times.
Another question.
Yeah, and then I spoke to this guy and he was very direct. He says, we're not gonna do anything unless the planning board is gonna approve.
But how could we approve something when we don't really know the regs?
I guess to give me approval that a daycare can go there.
Well, it can conceivably.
Well, it's zoned for it.
Right. It is zoned for it, so it is allowed.
So I guess I
You know what I
need
mean?
something in writing that says that you guys will allow a daycare there. Then I submit that with the pre-application. Then they do the pre-site inspection and tell me what, like maybe the windows have to be a little bit bigger. That may be something they may say. Of course, there's like the what do you call those counters where the doctor's office is always counters in the state.
The way
They
I've
may
seen
say
this in
that they
other.
have to come out. They may say
other
that's-
municipalities,
All right, let's listen to Greg.
right, is that you're gonna have to come up with similar to what you did, right? And you're saying like 15 kids, for instance, right? So then the septic is looked at, the parking is looked at, the playground is looked at under the auspices of 15 kids, right? So the health department's already looked at what your engineer put together and they're saying, yeah, you can use the septic. So they're not taking issue with that.
I also spoke to Michelle
So-
and she said.
What I'm saying
Okay,
is-
let's
is what happens sometimes. And this is why I'm saying you may want to talk to them again and just try to make sure all the ducks are in a row. Is if you say 15, let's say, for instance, And they come back and tell you, well, you can only have 10, that's no harm, no foul from this board's point of view,
Right.
because you went smaller. But if they come back and then do their inspections and they say, we're gonna write you a license and we're gonna allow you to have 25.
Yeah.
Then that nullifies what we did,
Yeah,
because we only said 15, now you gotta come back.
yeah.
We do the public hearing again, we look at everything again, if the parking doesn't work, if the septic doesn't work, so you start getting into this catch-22 scenario. So
Yeah,
what I've seen other applicants do is to try to do almost a coordinated review. And I know they're gonna hold back and they'll tell you, we're not gonna give you the answer. But they can give you an unofficial answer, right? They can tell you, we understand what the planning board is looking for, we understand what they need. We can't give you this yet, but yeah, if we're looking at this and this is the plan and that's the right layout, that's 20 kids. We need to know that.
yeah, yeah.
Health department needs to know that, like I say, that goes to your
Yeah, yeah.
parking, that goes to your playground area, goes to your septic, your water, everything. So that's what I would, either
Yeah.
you or Pat, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
can try to
Oh, yeah,
engage them to get,
Yeah, the way.
same thing with like DOT, the health department, for instance, they're not issuing a permit, but they're looking at your application and what your engineer put together and saying, yeah, based on this information, that's good. That's what the board needs, so they can move forward.
I think when Pat.
So we need the
came
same
up with
thing
the
from
number, we
those
went
folks.
Lower than what.
Who's
we
Pat?
could've-
Pat Prendergast, who did the site plan for the bakery.
The engineer.
Yeah, I think he went. lower than
Re-engaged to the health
Pat.
department to try and make sure that it was okay with the bakery and the doctor's office and this. And the health department said, yeah, septic. is
He went
still-
by all the water meter readings
Right.
and he said that, let's go lower than the capacity. So I know 15's fine. I know we even have room for more if they say so, because we went lower than.
Yeah.
we picked
And what is
another
this waiver?
Oh, the
That's the
waivers for
setback
the,
to
for the
the-
playground.
to the
It's a
yeah.
waiver or a variance? Where, do we have,
Is that a,
I thought Michelle.
Is
We have
it.
I wrote it in my,
Drew's saying it's up to
wait a
us.
second,
It's
is it
actually-
self-regulation or is it a regulation that applies to daycare?
It's a regulation provided to daycare, but actually in that section, it specifically says you have the variant, the ability to waive that on a case by case basis.
Yeah, similar to what you did for scene.
So where is the setback? Okay, and not okay.
so yeah, you have to go back to the picture. I'll show you. So, it's kind of hard to see. Okay. So,
I take it you want the area to go all the way to the dotted line at the top. And the setbacks telling you can only have that front area where it says outdoor
yeah, no,
play.
it's gonna come out. So see what, the back steps here is gonna be really close. So it's gonna be like the cone, very tight and narrow. If you go 50 feet, that's 10, so that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 is gonna chop off.
Right, and you want it to go to,
Probably be helpful if Pat put that on his site.
yeah, we need a professional site plan for this. We can't,
We do. I have something.
oh, okay.
Right, but I don't know that Pat put that on.
My.
So the whole, I'm still confused. The whole thing is a playground.
And that's all lawn
It's
there
not
now?
hot?
Yeah, now it's all long. I seeded all this. And then this was partial, we're fixing, we're just gonna put a little more seeds to make it nice. And then it's all the field out there. And of course, it'll be all fenced in.
And the setback is too little where? To the back property?
It'll be only 10 feet instead of 50 feet.
It's a Dale's
property.
Supposed to be 50 feet.
Right, so if they
But-
come in 50
but it's
feet, there's like no.
almost-
Right against the building.
Yeah, that's where Dale was doing his mining.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know that big hole, I know. And then I was thinking like a little garden over here for the kids, like a little door for the fence, and then they can have a little. Yeah, then use the nice vegetables, bake. Makes a nice thing.
And
for
there's
the
a
kids.
garden, there's not a garden there now, that's a garden.
No, no, it's just more, but yeah, it's just part of the, the land, landlord's fine with that, he said it's beautiful, so I'll just use nice big vegetables and baking.
So it is there now or it's not?
No, no,
It's
no.
not there.
But we're just like outlining, where to put the doors, so we probably, I don't know, I think we're assuming like a door here. So the kids can get out to their parents. And then, of course, if they're in the daycare, they come down, the back steps is all fenced in, so they're not, anywhere near the parking lot. And then we'll have like a little shed, and then they can go out this little door and go to the garden. And then no doors over there.
And we have to count all these parking spots probably.
Well, again, yeah, so we have to know the circulation works, right? And again, that's why the number of kids becomes important and the hours that they're gonna be there.
And the employees.
Yeah, and the employees, right? And there's a ratio for that too, if they didn't tell you. number
Yeah.
of kids to number of adults in the building.
Yeah, so, we figured me as the director, he said, Emmanuel asked how many people will be employed, so I figured two, at least two teachers. The certified teacher and the special ed, and then, and this, maybe an assistant, and then me, so 4 teachers,
Well, again, that's for them. We don't
Yeah.
know anything about that.
Right,
So, like,
yeah,
that's for them.
That's where they got.
Yeah, we have no knowledge or,
Now, yeah, they won't come, they won't.
No, they
come
won't
this-
come out without,
Yeah, without you.
without this approval, and you
Yeah.
won't get your ultimate
Oh, it's back in. It's like a-
permit CO, you know, yeah.
what regulations do we have on a daycare? What is, and besides the SEPA, is there anything else in our code, like square footage, where they can be, anything?
Well, yeah, where they can be, it's allowable here. There is a specific thing about parking, which is oddly, 1 parking space per employee and 1 parking space, for 15 children. Which seems very, very light.
But I think there's gonna be enough parking space.
It's everything about fence is very,
That's really a drop.
very specific, but in
Right.
that section.
Just the circulation's more.
Ability.
How big the fence or anything like that, or that's more, that'll be that agency. It isn't-
Yeah. Minimum indoor play area is specified. Noise and visual screening, egress and ingress, traffic considerations and security is in there. It's a pretty thorough section for their zoning.
Well, it's a serious.
Yeah.
Type of project.
Right, oh yeah,
Thank you.
daycare, not a joke, you know.
All right, so so. You have to proceed with that agency and somehow get,
I would suggest having this stuff, Pat put this on his plan. And then trying to reach out to the agency. Specifically say, you know,
Yeah, no, they won't do anything.
well, they're not gonna come out, but they'll still opine, they'll respond back. And they'll either, you know, they'll give us a direction to go, right?
Oh, you mean that could put on this, put this on a site plan, show them these 2 pictures and say.
Well, I don't think they're gonna like your pictures, but in other words, so if an engineer puts it on his site.
it needs to be on real
Right,
site plan
that makes
by an
it, that
engineer.
elevates it in importance to the
Take our
agency, right?
zoning and say it is in this, it is zoned
And it-
in that area, we
Yeah.
have our zoning.
It is allowed.
It is allowed, it's an allowed use in our zoning.
Are you able to put that in
Well, it's a
writing for
special-
me? Yes.
No, your engineer should put it in writing, yeah,
I can-
Drew can do it,
You
yeah.
can write, Drew could do
Yeah.
that.
And the health department's already looked at it, and that'll be good to the agency as well, that the health department already looked and they said it's okay. You know what I mean?
The health
For septic.
department said they also need the county sanitation department approval.
Well, that's,
What's that for?
she's looking at a state approval,
Yeah.
and then that's why I said you have to also have to deal with Dutchess County, is they have a you know, an approval of their own.
Yeah,
For
that's
the-
why I
for
spoke
the
to
daycare
Michelle
spot.
and she got the letter and she saw it and she said, that's fine, just keep going.
Yeah.
You're fine for right now, keep moving forward.
Right.
Because.
But we're not gonna give any approval until we know that those agencies are at least. Prepared to sign off.
Right, and again, that's the reason to engage them early, it's just like when we do anything else, we're lead agency, you know, we follow the DC, Army Corps, DOT, you know, this is just another agency that, again, has to go through and we do the review kind of together.
Do we have to declare ourselves lead agency with this or let
Not
these?
fully,
Oh,
It's not.
yeah,
No.
Yeah,
But I'm just
you
saying,
can
it's
put
no
a
different,
daycare or anything.
you know what I mean, than those other agencies.
Yeah.
We just don't interact with them as often, you know what I mean?
I mean,
It's no different.
ultimately, we're not gonna have anything to do with it. They'll be governed by laws for children.
Absolutely, the
Yeah.
way, once it's
Once it's
up and running,
Yeah.
right, just like everything else.
just like anything else.
You know, health department comes in and do inspections, ag and markets inspects different things, right?
Right.
We don't have anything to do with it once it gets through the planning stage, but to get through the planning stage,
Zoning.
we need to get something from
district
them.
involved.
And that's the way you get it, you engage them, usually through the design professional.
But the thing that's gonna hold them up in making a final decision is that waiver, because it's gonna affect the square footage. And that's gonna affect the number
Well,
of children.
I would assume for purposes of this exercise that you're gonna get the waiver. And just
So-
submit the correct size playground for what you
Yeah, but-
need.
And I don't think the playground is,
So
they
that's-
base their approval on a playground.
Well, it's, but no, it's big, there's 125 square foot unit per child.
They certainly will want that playground.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
125 square foot unit per child on a playground. So not only there's rules inside the building, but there's rules outside the building.
Yeah, but you could also say 10 kids or one class goes out of the school.
Well, anyway, I don't see it, I don't anticipate a problem for her getting the waiver, so.
Oh.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I would
assume
not-
You're gonna get it.
Yeah.
The guys, thank you.
But you definitely want to put all this stuff on a professional site plan. I mean, this is a serious application, we can't do it.
So,
Maybe also how you're expecting the interior of that building to look. I mean, they're gonna wanna know what the design of that
Well,
space is going to be.
That looked, that wasn't out.
Well, it looked
But
like-
yeah, but it needs to be
it
drawn.
looked like a lot of rooms to have 4 staff people keep track of 15 kids.
so I figure like the two would like maybe so a teacher would be a teacher would be in one room and another teacher would be in the other. And then, I don't know, like another assistant teacher.
Well, obviously, I guess they'll
Right.
on
I mean,
yeah.
daycare isn't necessarily always classrooms.
Right.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, that was
free
kind of like
roaming.
an extra thing, you know, for
sure,
people to
sure.
have.
Like I said, there's rules of that,
Customers.
so when you're,
Yeah,
when you're there, there's gonna be rules like, if there's 3 kids in that one room. And there's no teacher, and that's not allowed.
So I'm sorry, because they're very rough over there on that department. I don't know what, because they're gonna want something in writing before, I feel like they're gonna say, well, they have to say it in writing before you can, will say anything.
Make them say.
Drew will get you a nice sounding letter.
Okay. And then next slide.
Nobody even know about it.
Yeah, they're not gonna know about them.
They're not gonna know that.
Just show it on the drawing.
You draw the yard area big enough to accommodate what you want.
Right,
They're not gonna know that we have a
Okay.
50%
Yeah.
setback.
So I'll just do it like.
and they're not gonna care, quite honestly.
And to be honest, if you even have to go closer the other way a little bit too, that's probably fine.
Yeah, they don't care
Okay,
about our
so
setback, they only care
here
about
has to
their.
Put these two drawings on professional.
Yes.
That's why we're the lead agency. We have to apply it.
And then,
Is there like a working kitchenette or you have to put all of that in?
oh no, there's already, well, okay, so that, there's already a little,
Sorry.
there's a sink there and the cabinets, but I'm gonna be cooking at the bakery. So if they want me to cook, and like if they want a meal plan, I'll be cooking over there for the kids.
Yeah.
And I'll just bring it over.
If you have.
I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna start doing
4
the
hours.
kitchens. No more kitchen.
Oh.
That's what that is.
Don't bring it.
Dare I ask how you're gonna finance this operation without tuitions? We're gonna
So.
have tuitions.
Well, okay, so I had different ideas. I mean, one is probably, somebody came into the bakery and told me, why don't you set up as non-for-profit? And that will help get more subsidies for the government, from the government to help, people need that. I have to, that's another process. If that doesn't work, then it is what it costs, So if people want to pay that for their kids, then they want. I mean, I just saw a lady at the park and she was saying that some people are extremely happy that their kids are not only going to daycare, but they're actually getting educated. They really like that. I spoke to another lady who definitely would love to have special ed, daycares. So it sounds like it's something that people are needing. I know I live in Hyde Park and I have a neighbor there and she's like, she has a little kid. She's like, I can't even find daycare for my daughter. And then I've been around Poughkeepsie and I've seen daycares on concrete areas, small little tiny playgrounds, and I'm like, wow, gorgeous playground area, for these kids would be.
Oh,
I don't see.
all right, so we have to. So you understand, or we generally understand what you need to get. To
Yeah,
do.
so. do you
And
want-
make sure that all the other elements of the site plan that he puts that on the plan too, the parking spaces, the egress, ingress, the things, your lighting, signage,
Blueberry muffins.
signs, it's all, if he's an engineer, he should be able to look at our site plan requirements and satisfy them.
Okay, so do you want him when he's done to send it to?
Yeah, you send it to Trish, she'll
Or
send it.
Send it to,
Well, I would send it
Do
in
both.
first, yeah, send it at the same time, so here's what we sent into those, to whatever office, right? Planning board gets copied, and then they'll respond, and if their response is, go take a flying hike or a long walk off a short pier, we're not gonna say anything. But then we'll just, we can take our cue from that and move.
And have them give whatever their response is in writing.
But
so
they
you
need to
send it us.
respond, they don't have the option of saying nothing.
I'll tell them that that's what the planning board said, they, I'll just tell me, you guys said Drew's letter will help me a lot, so. That's all I can do, so I'll show the.
If they don't like it, I can give them my email.
Okay,
Call me.
all right, thank you, Sarah.
They have-
Good luck with all that.
Thank you.
All right, and last, well, not last thing, but,
Nice try.
the Apex Modular Solutions application, can we pull it up? Sergeant? And I think we have somebody
It was in there.
who was in the waiting room several times.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We pulled, I guess it's on, if you have the sharing on, you can see, we pulled up the site plan.
Yeah, I can
And
see it.
Let's go ahead and describe what's going on then.
So basically, I'm trying to reinstate the approved prior use of that property of displaying sheds and salvaged lumber and materials from the Tappan Zee Bridge. So I'm not looking to do anything from the previous approval. More or less, this is just showcasing what Apex is doing on the level of, mini sheds such as what you guys see on the lot existing now, in conjunction to some of the beams and the logs that we have there. That's all part of the salvage material from the bridge.
Okay. Well, so you're going to be constructing the sheds there or just selling?
No.
sheds?
No, this is only the sole purpose of a display showcasing lot of products that we build elsewhere and then bring on to that lot as a showcase.
But there are materials there now. There's like a bunch of logs and things. Are those just to show people what they're being made from? Or are those going to the manufacturing area, or what's the piles of?
Exactly. I mean, sometimes people want to buy a beam or a log or a beam or just a piece of timber for a small DIY project at home. So we keep some on site, and it's also more so a display of what the material actually looks like before we mill it and produce these sheds.
All right, just to educate everyone here, if you remember, we approved to a different entity, which what was the name of it? It was
Circle of life.
Circle of Life.
Yeah.
And it was the sheds that were existing there that he was selling off. I don't know whose business it was before that, but it was, Dale, he was working with Dale to sell off the rest of these sheds that were there. And now, I don't remember if they all were sold, there might have been a couple left, but now this Apex has come in and now built more sheds. That was also, we only approved that for 6 months. It was supposed to be a temporary use that expired. And it was basically, I don't know if he operated for a little while, maybe, and then he had sat for definitely over a year. So this is a new application. Further along.
I'm not too familiar with what the length of business and what the details were with the previous person that was there. All I know and understand is that the exact same operation was in place, and I'm not looking to change my function as a business out of that location, out of the sole purpose of just simply showcasing what we have there. We're not building anything on site. We're not doing anything like that. I mean, I have another location in Poughkeepsie, and a lot of my manufacturing is done out of state. So if that being said, there'll never be any kind of production done on that lot.
Okay, yeah, well, I was just giving the history to remind the board and the new members to
Sure.
understand. So the reason why I mentioned the time frame, because once a use has been abandoned for over a year, it's technically a new use to come, it's a new application. Come back.
Okay, I mean,
And we also, that application that we approved was only for 6 months. It was not in perpetuity. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I-
it was that way. That was what the applicant wanted at the time. It wasn't like we demanded it or something. Let's go.
Sure, no, I get it. Again, I'm learning these details as you're
Yes.
educating me on it.
Is this what we have? Is this what we-
Yeah, this and a blank application, like nothing's filled.
Okay, so, all right, I didn't understand that. So this,
Literally, it's nothing. Yeah.
all right, so we have to get the application filled out properly and
What's wrong with,
because I mean, is there
So
an applicant? Yeah, what's the application is?
Point, it's, yeah. Same way.
what's wrong with the application?
It's completely blank.
Well,
No,
let me just see
that's-
here.
that's-
Apex
that's-
Solutions location.
Right?
That's,
All right,
that's,
it's got tax.
Didn't fill in.
you-
This is what we're looking at here. Maybe it didn't print, maybe it didn't come through. You have nothing?
I have, no, the application I have that I emailed to, Mr. Drew Weaver is completely filled out and executed. So I'm not sure what you're looking at.
This is all I have.
Is there an email address to someone there?
No,
that they-
we have it. We have it on the screen right now. Let me see.
Let me see if I can.
Oh, yeah, Warren, something didn't happen. It didn't print properly for you guys. So what happened was, for some reason, there was an issue. The attorney and the engineer didn't. I don't know why. You see it here. It's filled out. It's one of the ones he filled it out in the program, not by hand. So maybe something happened.
So again, that we're at an issue with like Dale.
Can you print these out for Jordan?
Right.
Oh, we filled it out for
Dale signed it.
Dale
signed
signed.
Who owns name and address? Let me see, tax map. Go back down to,
So is
Dale
Dale.
owns the property.
well, go back
Go
up.
back down.
He owns the property.
There's a part where he signed it. That's what I was saying.
Okay,
So
so,
Dale-
yeah, go ahead.
If you would allow me to, if you would just allow me a moment to explain, Dale Mitchell obviously owns the property and I'm leasing it from him. He filled out the application as the property owner.
Right, okay, so the proper way to do this is that you fill out the application as the business owner, and then there's another form or is attached to the application usually.
I gave it to him.
Yeah.
In case Dale didn't show up. Dale and him were gonna both.
Right,
And I said, well, in case Dale doesn't come, here's a form as under consent that Dale was supposed.
right, that gives you consent to act, but that Dale gives you permission to act as the he being the property owner to act on his behalf in this application.
Yeah, my apologies for that. This application was literally handed over to me by the building inspector. We explained the situation, and if there was another application we needed to fill out, I'll be more than happy to fill it out.
It's just a different, it's just one line, it's one page little form that just Dale
Sure.
signs as you have permission to act in my interest as the landowner. Then this application, you just have to amend it to have you be the applicant as for the application and you sign this one. Right, so
Yeah, I can
Apex-
have,
and you representing Apex, whatever the modular solutions is the business owner, and then Dale's the landowner.
okay, if there's if I can provide my email address if you guys don't have it already, and you can just forward over the proper documents that need to be executed by Dale and then myself. That wouldn't be a problem. I can probably have that over to you.
Yeah,
within the next 48 hours.
Trisha and Drew will get it. Yeah, Drew will get it too.
In the interim, would we still be able to address whatever needs to be addressed and take care of that tonight if it's possible? And we can follow, and then we can leave it as a contingent until the documents are submitted,
Well, can we
instead of
look-
kind of circling back into another meeting.
Well, let's just look at this here. We're not prepared to vote on it tonight.
Permitted use, Tom? What is the use?
The use is selling sheds.
Retail.
Is selling the sheds. It's just using like Bay Horse, right? You
Yeah.
know? They,
That's permitted in.
well, it's retail.
I would even say that we can sell.
Yeah.
Must have been there.
Well, he's not selling on site, he's displaying.
Well, no,
Oh, he would sell.
he's selling there. He's just not building anything.
Oh, I thought he said he was just displaying.
Well, he would,
selling on
he's,
site?
he would, if somebody came
Gonna
and
have
looked at it
people
and wanted
come
to
in.
buy one, I bet he'd sell it. to
Just so you have customers come there and look at the sheds and then place orders with you, is that at that time?
So typically, we like to leave those there as models. Sometimes you do have clients or customers that insist on the model that's there, that they don't want to wait. In that case scenario, when it does happen, we will just sell them that one and then replace the showcase with a similar model to replace it.
So this is the place where the customer shows up and looks at the sheds and then buys one and then you manufacture it elsewhere normally. And once in a while, we'll sell one of the ones on the lot.
Exactly.
Sounds, all right, it's retail. All right, let's scroll through this a little more so we can look at, what does this say? Continuing past in this property. Okay. All right, so this page here, you're gonna have to change to you as the applicant, not being Dale, it should be you. Then you'd say, are you the property owner? You'd say no, and that's where that additional one-page form comes in.
Okay.
Zoning, no, critical environmental area, did we check that? No, right, it's not. This is the wellhead though, right? But I mean, it doesn't really change for this.
Is that the wellhead zone?
Very close.
Yeah. 500 feet of an agricultural.
Yeah, going out.
So he has to do an ag data statement?
It's
It's within five-
That we drew before we get to this planning board meeting.
I think the biggest issue, again, at this point, then would be the requirements. Is a site plan required? Do we need to see a site plan? Or is that?
Why did we only give a temporary
Zero.
approval last time? What was the process?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at the minutes. I think the applicant just asked for, because he was supposed to be just selling down what was there. It wasn't like they were gonna bring in any new products. And
Should get a copy of that.
Isn't he gonna sell real estate too or something? Yeah.
it was like Circle of Life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bathroom.
Yeah, there's no bathroom. Right, there's no bathroom or septic on this site, correct?
No, there's no bathrooms. We don't provide that, and we don't have that on site.
Right, can you keep scrolling through this, please?
Yeah, I think that's what they do. I think that's what they do.
Have any regulations on portable sawmills?
Down there. The
Well,
garden center.
like I say, if it's retail, then we need to review it under the code for whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Time claims code requires for retail site plans, special use, whatever the issue
So
is.
he's got a
Put
portable
down the
sawmill.
checklist and
It does?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you
That's
said
how-
there was no.
it's no manufacturing.
But
But I would assume because they only gave you
he
temporary.
saws logs there.
Approval, there was something wrong with this application.
Yeah, next to all those logs is a portable sawmill.
Well, again, that's a reason for a site plan, again, so we can see what's gonna be there and.
So Asa, what's going on with the log sawing? I know you're saying some people want some of it, but what are you doing with the portable sawmill?
So the logs are really there for just showcasing purposes and kind of storage a little bit for us, where we can kind of place these logs. Not much, if any, logs ever get sold, and actually, logs won't get sold. It would be a small piece of beam that somebody wants to maybe replace something in a barn, or maybe do a surround around the fireplace of some sort or something that would be decorative or for accent purposes. But those cases are very rare and far and few in between. They almost never happen. I probably get asked more than I actually sell logs that way,
So you-
or beams that
So
way.
you don't do any milling or sawing of the logs there?
We have a sawmill there, which we brought in when we did our open house, just to kind of demonstrate, and we had Channel 12 up here, and we milled a couple of logs and for the camera purposes, but we're not really milling much of anything there. Am I going to say that? I mean, if there's restrictions against me milling logs there, then I won't. But if it's acceptable before the town and there's no, there's no hiccups on it, then I may mill a log or two here and there, depending on the situation. If a customer comes in and wants me to rip something down in half for them, and they want to buy it right there on the spot. So that scenario can play out. And if I have the permission to do it, I would be happy to continue with that use case. But if there's going to be requirements or whatever that may kind of hold me back on that, then I won't do it. I can just remove the sawmill. I mean, if it's going to be an issue, but it's not going to really affect my business operation overall. In the sense, I can always have it milled elsewhere. It's just it becomes a convenience factor for potential customers more than anything.
And is there customer parking there?
There's
How many
plenty of
spots?
there's plenty of parking available on the lot.
Yeah, we're gonna need a drawing
Of
showing
what?
showing the parking. I don't think, I mean, probably. We need him to go to an engineer.
Listen, I don't want to make a huge thing out of this. My operation is much larger than what you see in Pine Plains. This is really more of a community event thing that I do for the locals.
We have to do it by the regs. We can't just like, you know.
I understand what you're saying, and I'm extremely familiar with this process. My operation is not a heavy traffic operation that has people coming in and out all the time. I'm lucky if I get 3 or 4 people that out of curiosity come by in a week. So, with that being said, I just don't feel the necessity based on the volume that I'm doing or the type of business that is in that location to undergo engineered approved plans and all this other stuff. I mean,
Well, that's what I was asking the board if we thought we needed that.
I mean, is it on the site?
There was that picture.
An illegal copy of a survey,
Yeah.
which is illegal to accept. Just saying.
Okay.
But no, if the board decided they wanted to move forward on that, right, with that level of information, the only thing that I would say is that you would need to qualify very clearly why you thought that was acceptable in this case to approve a retail use, because arguably Stewart's is a retail use right across 50 feet away. And they have a completely different level, and maybe there's a real reason why they have a different level of detail. But you need to differentiate between the two, so someone doesn't come in and say, well, I'm retail also, and here you go.
Sketch out my map.
Let me sketch this out for you.
But we've done things like, I don't think we made like the refillery to go to like, like smaller
Right,
applicants.
well, for
We've
instance,
not.
again, we have another one, right, bakery and daycare, right, to put it in context. Not doing the same level of information as Stewart's, because I don't really think they need to, right, and the board obviously doesn't think they need to, but it does require a little bit more than just the hand sketch on the back of the napkin. And that's what her engineer is providing. He's not going till bozo with, the level of information, but it gets you where you need to go. So again, if there's an opinion that because there's limited foot traffic and because there's no manufacturing and because there's no, XYZ, and you're simply going to place, a structure there, a shed, so someone could come say, well, this is the homestead shed, well, this is the barn shed, this is the chicken coop shed, whatever. And then say, yeah, give me this one. Then that might be your rationale why you're allowing it, but you need to flesh that out. As opposed to just carte blanche.
Well, I still think they have to have like.
Yeah.
Some kind of like.
Right, but do we have to draw that or do we want to see? Obviously, this whole issue with doing better to go to like parcel access or something like that and draw.
I would think so, yeah. If you've ever, we don't usually read them, but if you look at the survey maps, there is a note in New York State education law, and it is illegal. Copy, alter.
Dale Mitchell,
There's no
Sure,
such,
Dale has a-
you gotta have it.
he surveyed that place 6 times.
He's got.
Surveys are for specific use, for
Right.
specific.
And once you do it again, you kind of just.
So.
Drawing, and then, if.
But
you
again,
do
we could
have
do
to
that
use
on parcel access. They drew those lines based on the map. It's not a survey, but again, if that's what you think is the level of detail that, is allowed, then that's just
It's up to
Make
you
an
guys.
argument
What do
why
you
that's
think? Do you
allowed.
think he needs to go to an engineer or do we think he? Or are we
Is it
gonna
considered
accept?
wetland there with the
That's what I was.
the
gonna
stream that's right up to it?
We should
That is a
find
wetland.
out about the critical environmental area.
Does
and
that
if
have anything to
He
do?
is close to ag, we should have, I mean. he has
He's
to.
definitely close to Greg,
Right.
right? Isn't Greg's Fields right over?
Yeah, an ag data statement can be prepared and filed without an engineer's drawing. The wetlands are there, they need to be, shown, there's probably an adjacent area from the wetlands, it's 100 feet. And if they want to be within that adjacent regulated area, they need a permit. from
We have
DEP.
to
We have
set-
no ability to do
And we have to send it to the county because he's on the county road.
that.
We should pull out a copy of what the temporary permit that was issued. I'd like to see that.
Okay.
I mean, I think that guy had a map because it had where the sign was and all of that, remember?
That's another thing too, the signs.
Sign.
We need, like, there's a bunch of draped banners currently on walls and it is not okay. Like, we need like a sign. If you're gonna have a sign, it's gotta be a sign, it's gotta be a certain size.
I agree. I agree with you completely there, and those are just temporary signs. Tell me what's allowed for signage and we'll take care of that and we'll replace those with normal signs. But that's just there for more for clients and people just trying to get our contact information more than anything.
Right,
As a
so Drew will
temporary-
be able to educate you on that and also that also goes on the site plan, like where the sign's gonna be and any lighting or any of that sort of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think you might need drawing. Because of there's a wetland that runs right through there. I mean,
At least somebody that shows the whole 4-acre site.
right,
That gives us an idea of what's gonna take place on the whole thing.
yeah, it's a Army Corps.
Yeah. Personal access to Dutchess County does show the wetlands as well, give you a basic idea, anyway, it's not a field delineation, but. Place to start.
It's not, I mean. All right, so interface with Drew and
And you can print it out.
right, but parcel access will help you. And we'll research that previous application, I'll get it to our attorney and any further. And
Now, please forgive me, but the audio has been coming on, in and out a little bit, and I've been getting bits and pieces of what you were saying. With Trish, I believe her name was Trish, the person that emailed me the invite. Would there be any way that she can just, if it's possible, to email me a quick summary of what the last little bit was, so I have a clear understanding and I'm not confused about anything going forward? Is that possible?
well, Drew, interface with Drew. Drew will be able to tell you what you need to do.
Yeah, at this point, I'm gonna send him an order consent form, have him resubmit the application in his name, ag data statement. And send him the sign regulations.
It's not regulated, right, and
And
A better map.
a better.
we need a better map with parking, sign,
Site plan.
any lights. Yes, and we need something to see about those wetlands. I mean,
So you can print some of that right off of Dutchess County partial access.
yeah, maybe send them a link to the parcel access or
Get a nice little
Tristan.
map, turn the wetlands on.
All right. Drew, I believe you're available on what, Saturday, after today? Is that what it
Yes.
is?
Yes,
Saturday,
And-
okay.
There was something else I can't remember now. Parking,
You
Parking,
sign.
sign, light, and wetlands.
well, yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, all right, well, and then our next meeting's the 9th of August. So I don't know if you'll be able to get anything, get it all back by then, so probably not.
I
But
will
we'll-
try, I got a very, very heavy workload,
All right,
but I
so
will
we'll,
try to get it, I will try to get it to you by tonight.
See you in September.
otherwise, see you in September. I mean, we probably wouldn't be ready to move on it in August anyway, but we could work further on it and clear.
Yeah, no, I'll try to get you whatever you guys need by August 9th. I'll see what I can do in that. I'll see how fast I can put things together. Again, I'll touch base with Drew on Saturday and then we'll go from there. Thank you very much.
Again,
for
you're
the,
still operating. It's not like Drew has sent him a cease and desist letter, correct?
Yeah, no, I get it. And as far as the wetlands is concerned, for whatever it's worth, I believe there's a sufficient amount of buffer in that regard.
We have to see
But we'll
that.
verify it. We'll
Okay.
verify it.
All right,
All
thank you.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Yes, this came from what I said, true. Have you seen the guy like operating this thing down next to Stewart's? He's like, no, what? Let me go see. Like, oh my God, like, and then he called Dale and like, it's Dale. So. I see Dale every time I was at Stewart's, he's puttering around in there, we're going back and forth.
Poor guy, I'm sure they all said, oh, yeah, no problem.
All right, Alchemy Pure resolution. I forgot to ask about you, but I take it Ethan's was the same. This is not a complete application, right? That's what he said regarding this.
What's your question?
Ethan's comments with this.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't have any comment.
That was the early comment. Somebody said not a complete application. Well, no,
All right,
Warren said it was a blank application.
Additional.
so
But we-
Yeah.
60 day, I didn't realize.
What
we
you-
heard it, the plan,
you know,
60
based on
day
what is-
period, so it's only up to-
all right, so we have the Alchemy Pure resolution. That we need to vote on. Well, I might as well read it. What's that?
She just has one question. So she-
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the question you want answered by daycare rep division. The maximum number of children and teachers that are allowed based on the drawings.
Yeah, and that should be based on what you want too, like.
Yeah,
what-
Matt, what are you asking me? I mean, that's really up to that agency, right? It's not really us.
That number, so I can come back to you to tell you what that number is, so you can see if it's more than 15 that was approved. By this episode.
Essentially, and then also have them put it in writing, if they're gonna take the position that they're not going to act on your application and they're officially not going to give you information till you get an approval, make them write that down.
Okay, so they have.
So we're gonna need a number, like, because we can't evaluate, like, we don't know how many people are gonna be there and then how many teachers.
Final also has to be based on a number too, so
Right.
you and the agency have to,
Right,
based on.
like I'm saying,
everything
they've
about
got
you.
rules and you've got space and you gotta try and
Square
make those.
footage do you need per student?
Yes,
per
I was,
adult?
I was trying to
Yeah.
get them to do that.
Right,
And then you said something about 15 children in the parking lot, so I didn't catch that. Is there another rule there?
there's a rule for parking, I mean, how many cars.
How many spaces?
Spaces should be available based on how many kids, based on how many employees.
That's in our code.
I think there's plenty of room in the parking lot, but again,
Oh, okay, so that's so.
It's just something to keep in
15, that's
mind.
not good.
It said one spot per 15
one
kids, right?
15, 'cause most of them are gonna drop them off.
And then one
We'll
per
drop them off, they'll
employee.
leave, They're not gonna stay there.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Can we do
All right.
15?
You're right.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I
Sure.
appreciate it.
Yep, have a good
Good night.
Does she need an ag data statement? She didn't have to do an ag. Does she have to do an ag data statement? If she's within 500, yes, right?
If you're reading, what is it,
500
500?
She's probably not 500.
And an act
Close.
You have to be an act close.
Oh, only in an ag district?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
MS.
You have to be in an ag district and
And
to be an
farm.
active farm, yeah.
So what was the,
Why was it on the
So is
application?
Apex.
It's probably on every application.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Apex in?
Wasn't checked, yes.
Apex is not in, right? They're within 500 feet of an agricultural operation in an ag district. Is that what they mean? Or does the use have to be in the ag district?
I thought the use had to be in the ag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Apex is not in the ag district, no. Greg's property across the street is.
No.
No, it
Okay,
doesn't.
I was like, I was ready to get up. I know you guys.
What district is Apex in?
HMS, I believe.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
application's in there.
Main Street.
Same as Stewart's.
That's what I'm saying, Stewart's is a retail.
Yeah, oh, all right, so then he
That's what
doesn't
I'm
need to
saying,
do an ag.
Application literally 50 feet away. In the same
All right.
neighborhood. For the same use.
All right. Anyway, all right. Town of Pine Plains Planning Board, resolution approving the special use permit and site plan application of Alchemy Pure LLC for a portion of the premises located at 2775 Church Street, New York State Route 199, Pine Plains, New York, for a cannabis packaging parentheses manufacturing facility with conditions, whereas Scene Properties LLC hereafter hereinafter referred to as Scene, is the owner of 3.4 acre parcel of land located at 2775 Church Street, New York State Route 199 in the town of Pine Plains, having tax parcel number 12420068721315237 hereinafter referred to as Scene Properties. And wait, what? Okay. Oh, it's Scene, okay, I don't know, all right, they confused. Whereas the subject property is improved by a framed barn structure consisting of 15,575 square feet, and whereas Scene received site plan and special use permit approval in January of 2023, changing the use of the premises from a farming operation to an equipment storage facility, and whereas the said premises are located in the town's light industrial district, in which manufacturing is a use permitted subject to special permit and site plan approval. And whereas Alchemy Pure LLC has entered into a lease agreement with Scene to utilize a portion of the said facilities, 9,000 square feet, for storage and processing of natural cannabis products, which will be distributed and sold off-site to New York State cannabis dispensaries. And whereas Alchemy Pure is currently licensed by the Office of Cannabis Management of the State of New York as an adult use conditional cultivator pursuant to licenses issued to Chris Regan on May 5th, 2022, expiring on May 5th, 2024, and Jerry Teal issued on May 5th, 2022, expiring on May 5th, 2024, by the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. And whereas Alchemy Pure proposes to handle the packaging, branding, and distributing of the project on site pursuant to those licenses in that portion of the building leased from Scene, and whereas the said proposed use of the premises.
So there's a typo,
Okay,
which says project should be product, I think.
of that product.
Yeah.
On site pursuant to those licenses in that portion of the building leased from Scene, and whereas the said proposed use of the premises has been determined by the town's code enforcement officer to qualify as manufacturing use pursuant to the provisions of the town zoning code. And whereas section 275-56 subsection AA of the town code provides in subsection 1 that the minimum lot area for manufacturing use be 5 acres, and the manufacturing building shall be set back no less than 100 feet from any lot line, and that lot line shall contain no less than 100 feet of in that lot line, so contain no less than 100 feet of frontage on a county or state road. And whereas the proposed site plan for the facility does not meet all of the above reference requirements of section 275-56 AA1 of the code, and whereas section 275-55 subsection G3 provides in relevant part that the planning board may waive any specific requirements set forth in section 255-56 for approval in conjunction with the application for a special use permit. And whereas the applicant has requested the planning board to waive the aforesaid requirements of section 275-56 of section AA1 of the code, and whereas the applicant has represented to the planning board that it is complied and will continue to comply with all rules and regulations concerning the licensing and operation of the facility, including but not limited to the adherence to an operating plan and site plan required by the rules and regulations of the Office of Cannabis Management for such facilities. And whereas the planning board has declared this action be an unlisted action under seeker and has reviewed a full environmental assessment form and the part 2 thereof, and has determined that this action does not have the potential for any significant environmental impacts, and that a draft environmental impact statement need not be prepared. And whereas the site plan and all documentation submitted in conjunction with this application has been reviewed by the town's consulting engineer and has been found to be acceptable in form and content. Whereas the public hearing has opened on this application on June 19th, 2023, and closed on the same date, and no comments in opposition to the application were received. And whereas the application has been referred to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development in accordance with the requirements of section 239-M of the General Municipal Law, and Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has determined that this is a matter of local concern. Now therefore be it resolved.
Gotta make these shorter, Warren.
This is a fair amount of work when it does.
So
So, I have a question. So nowhere in it does it mention that whole like scrubber thing? The vapor scrubber, like that's just part of the site plan, and therefore if it becomes, inoperable. They would repair it.
Vaguely remember that. Is that something we should put into the?
Well, yeah, I think because we don't want the vapors escaping in, it's like near the school, and that was the only issue this facility could possibly, impact. So where would that,
Put that as a condition that no vapors struggling, or what was it?
that the,
They were gonna put scrubbers in so that no odors would escape the building.
Oh, okay, so why don't we put that in? as a
Permeate through the
condition?
neighborhood.
Yeah,
that the applicants install and continue to maintain a scrubber system as,
vapors,
Yeah, air
scrubber
scrubbers.
systems,
yeah, as indicated on the
as
submitted.
represented to the planning board during the course of the public hearing.
Yeah.
Can you add that, Stu?
Yeah.
So we'll add that.
You listen?
It's gonna be.
So that would be in the resolved area.
Yeah, that would be the resolve. That would be one of the conditions.
here's line 3.
All right. Resolved that the planning board has determined that strict compliance with the requirements of section 275-56.
I'm sorry, will you just indicate where you?
Yeah, I'll put it in whatever. We'll just do it.
Gotta pay attention.
You lost me after 8.
So the planning board has determined that the strict compliance with the requirements of section 275-56 AA1 is not required in that building, in that the building is pre-existing and the operation of the facility on a site less than 5 acres, which does not meet the 100-foot setback requirements of the zoning code for this use, is not required in the interest of public health, safety, or general welfare, and is not appropriate to the particular special use being sought in this case. And be it further resolved that the planning board hereby grants site plan and special permit approval to the applicant in accordance with the site plan map prepared for Scene Properties LLC dated October 15th, 2022, last revised May 1st, 2023. And be it further resolved that the operation of this facility shall be in strict compliance with the rules and regulations of the permit conditions issued for this facility by the Office of Cannabis Management, including but not limited to the operating plan and site plan for this type of facility. And be it further resolved that there shall be no on-site retail sale or distribution of cannabis product from this facility, and that all byproducts from the on-site processing shall be removed from the site and composted off-site in accordance with permits and regulations of the New York State Office of Cannabis Management.
If you want to add that.
Yeah, I think it was right now
Yeah.
would be a good, and be it further resolved that the applicant will install and continually maintain an operating air scrubber as represented to the board in the application materials. And be it further resolved that on or before May 5th, 2024, the applicant shall submit a further application to the planning board for renewal of this site plan and special permit by demonstrating, among other things, that the operation has been conducted in full compliance with the rules and regulations of Office of Cannabis Management, and all permitting of this facility by the Office of Cannabis Management is being continued or renewed so as to permit the operation of this facility either as an adult use conditional processor or other duly issued permit by the Office of Cannabis Management for this facility. And be it further resolved that in the event the planning board receives notice from the code enforcement officer for the town of Pine Plains that the applicant has violated any terms or conditions of this special permit or site plan approval, or in the event the applicant fails to submit a further application to the planning board for renewal of the site plan and special permit on or before May 5th, 2024, Do we want to say here more in this part of this, or is that kind of covered in that already? Or if the Office of Cannabis Management revokes their license, or are we
I think
covered?
that's.
It's implied,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Submit further application for renewal of the site plan or special permit on or before May 5th, 2024. The planning board reserves the right to revoke the special permit and site plan approval or modify the same as it deems appropriate, and be it further resolved that the applicant shall pay all permit application fees and escrow charged prior to the effectiveness of this resolution. Okay, can I have a motion to accept, to vote on this resolution as I have read it?
That's a question, I was just
Oh,
curious
sure.
about why the renewal process, is that customary for?
Because
this
the light,
type of
Because they
application?
only have this temporary license that expires.
So it would be in conjunction with the licensing they get from the state.
Exactly, yeah, we grappled with that, because that was the
It's a
problem.
1-year renewal thing.
And it parallels that date, right?
correct.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because the license that they've shown us only is a temporary license expiring on that May.
May 24th.
Right.
I got you, okay.
I move we adopt this resolution.
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Al,
Aye.
Vicky,
I,
Yes.
Stu,
Present.
Scott,
I'm in.
I gotta add Scott again.
And make sure that a copy of the resolution is sent to the applicants, but
Yes.
Kind of
Kate?
Some Cheech and Chong reference, but I couldn't. Oh, wow.
the ball buster to do that.
You enjoy.
And I also vote aye. Carried by a vote of 7-0. Okay. Last thing, the comments for the,
Yeah, do you want me to, I'll just briefly explain what the retract and the town board determined to issue a 8-month moratorium on the processing of any new applications for what do we call them? Tier 3 solar facilities in the town. It does the local law exempts any existing application that has been accepted for review and is being reviewed by the planning board, and is in the process of being reviewed under state secret in the state Environmental Quality Review Act. There is a provision in there, a hardship provision, that if it's a very stringent hardship provision, that if a property owner can demonstrate that the moratorium results in a unnecessary hardship, and very difficult threshold to meet, that they can apply to the town board for a variance for the moratorium. That's pretty much standard provision that's being put in all moratorium laws now in New York State. And that's basically, it exempts the Carson Powers project because that's so far along in the review process.
and then, right, and exempt it because basically that if it didn't, they'd just go to court and win.
Well, I'm-
likely.
Don't comment on that,
No.
but I mean, there were various factors that went into the town board's determination to exempt Carson Powers application. And the town board determined that it was fair and reasonable. Now, with regard to that application, I just to bring you up to date, I did receive a draft part 2 analysis of the seeker from our consulting planner. Just a few days ago, I am tuning into that. I'm gonna have some comments and recommendations for change before it's presented to the planning board. And I asked them to send you, which I think they did, they sent it to the chairman of the planning board and to George, I don't know if George got it, so if you have any
I
comments,
got it today.
we're hoping to have something back to you, by August 9th. For your review, it's a very important decision, so it has to be carefully vetted by the planning board before you make any decisions on that, but we're shooting towards the, August 9th meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that email from, that was today, right? That came through today?
I'm sorry,
The email came through today or yesterday?
the email, oh, I don't,
From Frank.
I think so,
Yeah.
because he only sent it to me a
Yeah.
couple days ago, so I asked him to make sure that both of you got a copy of it.
So once we get like a final draft, then we'll send it to the board, or do you want me to send that
Yeah,
out to the
we're
board?
gonna work on the,
Okay.
on the draft. I know that I have some comments on it myself.
Okay.
George, and you might have some any comments that you have would be welcome.
Or as far as the comments to the town board, so ostensibly the reason behind the moratorium is because the unanticipated factor of acres of trees being cut down for one of these projects and other of these projects if they were to come. And I guess they were looking to tweak the law in that area, so.
The town board was concerned about the proliferation of these applications. Especially because, you know, they have to be in close proximity to the grid. So the town board wanted to make sure that the law was reviewed so that it has enough protection in there to in the future protect against proliferation of applications which may adversely impact the town's environment and agricultural and community resources. It's all in the law. But if we could get a comment from the planning board to the town board, then the town board can vote on it at its next meeting in August.
Comments, anyone, or what do you
I
want?
don't have any objection to it. I mean, I think it's worth us saying, go for it,
Yeah.
and it's more important when the revision is brought forward, that we comment on that.
Absolutely,
So
it will be.
I'd say
That-
go
That
for
would
it.
be change in the local law, but.
So you guys want me to draft a letter saying something to the effect of. It's prudent for the town board to. Well, have a moratorium causing a pause in any possible further development of tier 3 solar. In order to examine the consequences or possibility of proliferation of such projects. In proximity to the hosting capacity. Required for solar and
I wouldn't use the word prudent. I would say we don't object.
you want to say on it?
Yeah, I would not.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not sure they're being
Whatever,
prudent.
that's your
They're
prerogative.
caving,
I don't
they're
want
caving
to.
to constituents.
It's just that we put off a vote because we didn't have the late meeting that usually you have your meeting before the town board.
and also the unanticipated. Factor of the tree, that they would be willing to cut down acres of
Yeah, I
trees.
mean, that's one of the concerns.
Tens of acres of trees to put one of the projects up.
Okay.
All right, so-
Yeah.
We have one more thing for you.
What's that?
All right, so that's, all right, so I need to vote. Can I have a motion to approve me to make those comments to the town board?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? So Stissing's Town Center, what is it called? Stissing Farms, Stissing Town Center, townhomes.
Oh.
So they're
I have to look into that.
Yeah, they're stuck with so they're getting on Drew saying we want our COs. And they want to rent the places because they can't get the state to approve their offering plan. And they want to go. Well, do we know why, Drew, or?
What they tell me is they submit something and the offer, it comes back, oh, we'll accept this portion, but this has to be changed. And back and forth, back. and forth.
So we need to,
My experience with the Attorney General's office, that they don't really look too closely at those things, but you may be right. I forgot about that. I apologize. I have to look at that. So
so
what was
They
the
are.
status before that it was
Well, if you
Refresh
didn't
my
live there,
recollection.
Well, the 10, but they don't have COs for the
As a
rest.
condo, and the requirement was they had to
The new
amend their offering plan with the Attorney General's office.
Right.
So until that's approved, they want to rent them out.
That, I mean, in my mind, it's changing the application again, back to
Yeah,
rentals.
this is, I don't know.
The 10 that are there, they're renting, right? They have a sign up now that says like, call for rentals or whatever.
They have an agent that.
Yeah, I get, they're moving.
So
They
I,
don't have
Are they-
CEOs on. They don't have CEOs on 28.
oh, you already gave COs on some of the new ones?
I give CEOs on 10.
10 new ones, not. And then they're renting those.
No, there, as far as I know, there's no one living there yet.
They're all vacant.
They were as of 10 days. ago.
Besides the
But there
original.
were, there were a number of owners. Didn't they sell a couple of those units?
So-
They bought them.
They
Yeah.
purchased that.
Yeah.
So the way I have to pull out the last resolution, which was about 30 pages long, and see how we left that off, but. I'll get back to you on that.
And Warren, can you interface with their attorney and like show me what the state's sending you and why?
Yeah, they haven't contacted me. Only you, right? They're
Yeah.
bugging you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we need to know what the real story is.
Well, assuming that I get the real story.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical that they would be having such a difficult time in the Attorney General's office. So.
Meanwhile, they asked about their escrow. They sent this letter.
Yeah, did they send you a letter or something? Yeah. Could I ask you to do me a favor, just ask them to put exactly what it is they want and the reason supporting it in writing to you and then send it to me. And then I'll have something for you by the next meeting.
Thank you. All right, now don't you, Gruber, don't you? Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, George.
Nice to see you, Drew.
Thank you, Warren. All right, so we have to approve these minutes.
You do all this.
I don't think that's okay.
Blank approval.
No, I don't think we can. Okay, the March 22nd workshop. Meeting minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
You have it, you don't have it now. Do you have it right there?
Yes.
It was,
I remember that one thing.
One thing.
I did change.
what's that?
I don't remember from March, but I remember changing. I remember you wanted me to change it. It was like a word from not changing large to something else or something like that, right?
I know Ethan sent you a bunch of like,
Oh, yeah.
mostly typo,
I made,
but this is the one?
which one? The March one? That's March.
This is the one that wait, which one is this? Which is
Second.
the one?
Yeah, March.
Oh, this is another one at the library.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't have one.
Okay, so all right, so that's not the one I'm thinking, all right, so this one, can I have a motion to accept the March 22nd workshop? minutes?
Is that what we just?
I make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I don't think I was.
You were there.
I was there. I was there. Okay. I wasn't.
All right, so March 22nd,
March.
meeting minutes are approved. April meeting minutes, that's a regular meeting of April 12th. Wednesday, okay, yes. Looks like everyone is there. Okay, can I have a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. May meeting minutes. When was the one? Don't we have like one? Was that in June? When was
We had two.
the public hearing?
That was
The
June.
Saturday one?
Yeah,
That's
we
where I
did
have the
that
thing I need to.
June
do.
19th.
All right, so May 10th, meeting minutes. Everyone, looks like everyone was there. Yes. Can I have a motion to approve these meetings? These minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, is the next, what's this?
That's from June 19th, I think, and then you should have June 10th. Or was this it? Nope, there it was.
Well, June 10th, there was just one thing. It was substantive. Right. So they said that they're waiting for seeker, no, they're waiting for the waiting for us to make a decision before the zoning board could act. And what it should say is, oh, here it is. After the final decision until after the planning board has. All right, so here's a public hearing was conducted, but the ZBA cannot make their final decision until after the planning board has, until the planning board has made our seeker determination. It is not until we approve the project. So that just has to be changed to seeker determination. With that change, can I have a motion to accept these minutes? Now, see, Al and Kate were not here at this.
I make that motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, those are approved. June 19th, this is a regular meeting that was delayed, or is this a workshop?
It's the Monday night meeting.
Oh, this is the big one.
It's the big one with the computer problems.
Al was not at this one. Can I have a motion to accept these minutes?
I make that motion.
second.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, those meetings are approved.
Well done.
One more thing we need to talk about is that Helen has resigned from the board. She's having personal issues, or she's having to take care of her mother, fly back to California and all this stuff. And so she resigned. So it's that she put in the letter, went to the town board already, and so she's out. Anyone have any people? Of course, I'm all ears. I do have one name I'm gonna look up. Obviously don't want to mention on the record here. Besides that, everyone, if you make sure you do your app, we're past the halfway point of the year, make sure your education's done. Because you need more time to spend on it. Anyway, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Who's adjourned?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thanks. Stop, that's the
Yes.
tape, and I just want to see if any.
For you.